evening, fight fans. You are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting Network alternative commentary for UFC 272. Covington versus Masvidal. Former friends, bitter enemies. Good friends, better enemies is what they called a Shawn Michaels pay-per-view back in the day.
Frenemies, as the kids say.
Yes. I am joined by Are You Ready to Radulich? Otherwise known as the Lasby Bomb. Daniel
Hey,
Lasby.
yo.
Double duty, Daniel Lasby. That's what I'm going to call you. Last night, he and I worked the ESPN card, Jose Pedraza versus Jose Ramirez. And tonight he's back again because he couldn't get enough of this alternative commentary action. What say you, Mr. Lasby?
Listen, here we go. I just watched the last of that prelim. It was a murder. And so this is either going to be the longest night or the shortest night, depending on where this goes.
Well, one of our good friends is already joined us, Mr. Pat Mullen of the History of Boxing podcast that he does with me and some other podcasts as well. So howdy, Pat. I'm glad you're here. He'll be keeping us in line. That we get too off the beaten path here. Pat's going to put us in check.
Listen, that's fair. I've rattled off down a rabbit hole or two in my time. I'll take it.
He will. If he doesn't like our scores, he will let us know. So I'm happy to have him here. All right, so let's go over the main card. Well, we're actually still into like the opening music video to start the show here, so we have a little bit of time before the first fight enters the cage. On the early prelims card on ESPN Plus, we had Dustin Jacoby, who defeated Michael something Polish in a unanimous decision at light heavyweight. We had Ludwig Klein defeating Devontae Smith by a split decision. And the flyweight division, we had Tim Elliott defeating Tagir Ulanbekov by decision. And then at featherweight, we had Umar Nurmagomedov defeating Brian Keller by submission, rear naked choke in the first round. On the prelim card, kicking things off, Marina Marav defeated Mariah Agapova by submission in the second round. We move on to light heavyweight here. Oh, these crazy names, Daniel. This is
This is how we keep you on your toes, man.
Indeed. Nikolai something Russian defeated Kennedy something Nejukwu. Sure. Split decision. Marina Rodriguez. I hate this.
Listen, I'm gonna bring in the pronunciation cheat sheet for the next one of these. I'll be all ready for it.
There you go. We're gonna hold hands and walk over that pronunciation bridge together, as Jesse Starcher says. Jalen Turner defeated Jamie Malarkey TKO punches in the second round, 46 seconds into the second round.
Oh, it's ugly.
On our main card tonight, we kick things off with heavyweight action. We've got Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy. At welterweight, we have Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. Ooh, these names I know. Featherweight, we have Edson Barboza, who hopefully will give us yet another one of his patented spinning heel kicks that knock people into left field.
I like that.
Taking on Bryce Mitchell. In the co-main event at catchweight, we have Rafael Dos Anjos versus Renato Maisano. And then finally, we have Colby Covington, who wants to make America great again, versus the bad MFer himself, Jorge Masvidal. So let's start there, Daniel. You've looked at Colby Covington and his storied past. We've looked at Jorge Masvidal. How do you see this one playing out?
Listen, I think Masvidal can win this with a knockout. I think that Covington's a little bit arrogant. I think he's a little bit mouthy, which can work out in your favor if you're somebody who can back it up all the time. But he's number one right now. Covington's number one, right? He's the top rank, I think. I think Masvidal can
you're right.
I think
Yeah,
Masvidal's 6 and Covington's 1. So, But I'd love to see Masvidal move up. I think he can. I think he can close the gap there.
Pat commented that I need to work on my phonetics. I should probably figure out who's fighting more than 2 minutes before I start the live stream.
Oh, come on, so good.
I bring you guys on to do the homework. I'm just here to drive the boat.
You got so you got it there somewhere.
I need everyone to fight Tom versus Steve. That's how the
Great.
Anyway, yeah, here's in the storied history of Jorge Masvidal, he can either be very, very aggressive, he's got some good power, and I think he can get the job done. However, he also can sometimes fight a little tentatively. He kind of does the Nick Diaz thing at times where he expects the fight to come to him, and it sometimes doesn't, because not everybody runs headlong into the dungeon yelling, Leroy Jenkins. So
right. Covington seems like he's for that, though. He's there to be like, America, let's do it.
Yeah, he might run headlong into the dungeon, but here, it comes down to this: can Covington's wrestling outmatch Masvidal's ground game? And he might get himself into trouble there, unless he kind of does the lay and pray, just sort of tying up Masvidal. But Masvidal's no slouch on the ground, so I don't know how well that's going to work for him. Pat offering this, he says, if I have to be the Bisping of this crew to fix Mark, I'll do it, but not without sponsorship from Bushmills. We'll get you a case, bud. We'll get you a case.
Come on, man. I'll buy you some Schlitz. I'll send it from Canada. It's going to be amazing.
I'm going to put Pat in his Cobra Kai gi and have him do this while he's drinking Red Stripe.
Pat, or whatever his Johnny drinks. How exceptional a mustache you can grow while wearing that gi. This is going to be key to this story.
All right. If you got nothing else on Covington versus Masvidal, let's go down to the second match here, the co-main event. Rafael dos Anjos versus I think it's actually pronounced Hanato Moicano. How do you see this one playing out?
I think Dos Anjos can take this one. I think that he's got the more consistency. I think that he can put this away relatively easily. And I think the Vegas odds on that one back it up. I think it's a pretty medium spread, but it was up and down a little bit earlier in the week. So
okay. Going down to the featherweight fight, we have Edson Barboza versus Bryce Mitchell. Pat offered that as much as he loves Edson Barboza, and who doesn't, when he's got some of those career highlight kicks that he's had. But on the other hand, Edson Barboza has also had a run of bad luck in the cage. He's definitely had some poor performances. Pat seems to think that Edson Barboza is in trouble with Bryce Mitchell. Let's say.
I think he's got to get lucky. I think that spinning heel kick is his big win out, which is a highlight reel. But if he doesn't catch on that, I think he's in trouble.
Okay. And going over to welterweight, Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira.
Those guys I don't know very well, so even in my kind of like flip up, I didn't catch too much. I will say this: I have a beef with you about the weight classes that we've been watching a lot of lately. I'm feeling fatter and fatter every day. I just want you to know that. I'm just throwing it out there. Featherweight, welterweight, lightweight. I'm dying over here, man. I got a stack of Oreos the size of my forearm, and I'm not feeling good about it.
You know what's funny about that? When I first started doing these alternative commentaries, it was to cover just the heavyweights and just the heavyweights in boxing. I would occasionally do one for the UFC, but then it was like, well, I really like doing these alternative commentaries for better or for worse, but heavyweights don't fight every week like I want them to.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we gotta branch out here, and there are a lot more lighter weight classes than there are heavier weight classes.
And those guys just seem to bounce back a lot faster. Like even in UFC, the lighter classes seem to be like, yeah, I got my face punched in through my elbow, but they bounce back with that 6-month, 9-month time frame to be able to come back and do it again.
Well, if your wife had, if we'd either got your Kickstarter started earlier or your wife had given you permission earlier, we could have been covering the Chocolito fight on DAZN tonight.
There you go. Okay.
Lighter weight classes, like those guys are like 10 pounds.
Oh,
they float in on a light breeze.
Like anytime that I need to measure the weight of my boots to see if they are heavier than the guys I'm watching fight, it's a tough night for me.
All right, and then in the final match here, kicking us off here on the main card, see what you think of this one: Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy.
So I watched some of Spivak. I just think he's the meaner dude. I think that he seems like he wants it more. I think that he's going to come in. And Greg Hardy's looking like he's in good shape. He looks like he can make it happen. But
it seems, looking at Greg Hardy's record as of late, that he's being set up to get beat by Spivak. That maybe Spivak is on the come up. And this
just
match was made. Yeah, his last fight was July 10th of last year against Tai Devisa, and he lost that one KO in the first round, which is it's very telling. Yeah, and then prior to that, in December 19th of 2020, he lost in the second round via TKO to Marcin Tibira. So I have a sneaking suspicion this is a showcase fight.
Bit of a sacrificial lamb for poor old Greg Hardy.
That's my thought. I'll be curious to see what other people think about that. All right. So while we wait for the UFC to finish, next week's card is supposed to be a good one. They actually showed a preview for it a little bit earlier. It's Santos versus Ankalaev. Thiago Santos versus Magomed Ankalaev in the light heavyweight division. And then we've got Song Yadong. Have you ever seen Song Yadong fight?
No, but that's the most amazing name I've heard yet.
Right? I like watching him. First of all, he's not a bad fighter, but I like watching him fight just so I can say Song Yadong.
Did his parents just really love like 80s pop films?
Well,
like, was it like 16 Candles and Song Yadong for the win?
He's Chinese. Most of what's going on there. He's taking on Marlon Moraes, who's also very, very good and a guy I like to see fight. Bruce Leroy's on this card. Drew Dober, Alex Pereira. So that's a good one. That's next weekend, March 12th. And then the week after that, March 19th, during the day at the O2 Arena in England, it's Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall in the main event. So that'll be an interesting card. I'll be curious to see what happens in that main event with those guys. The week after that is March 26th, and it's looking like Curtis Blades versus Chris Daukaus in the heavyweight division, which I'm sure is going to make Robert Winfrey cry. Just so much questioning of his life decisions. And then our next UFC pay-per-view event will be April 9th, right here in Jacksonville, Florida, at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, where AEW tends to take place. It's Alexander Volkanovski, who is the current featherweight champion, versus the Korean Zombie. I'm actually sad we're not covering this. Why aren't we covering this? What are we doing?
I don't know, man. You didn't tell me that his nickname was the Korean Zombie to start with. I didn't realize we were going full, like, Walking Dead on this.
Hey, guess what we're doing on April 9th?
Okay. We're boxing. There's boxing that night.
There's none.
That's Tyson Fury, right?
No, that's the 23rd. There's nothing going on April 9th. I actually didn't. I just gave us both the week off. That's the Triple G Murata fight, but that's in the middle of the morning in Japan. So there's
right.
Yeah, the only other thing I had on my schedule was XPW California, which is a whole other thing. So yeah, I'm putting it on the calendar now. I got you, Dan Lansby. I got you.
Lucky for you, I'm taking my wife out for her birthday the weekend before, so all good in the head.
There you go. Yeah, that's all WrestleMania that weekend. Have a good time.
Yep, that's literally. I'm starting to think. My wife booked us for a trip to an out of town overnighter, the first one since our kids are born, and I'm like, is this anti-WWE sentiment on your behalf? Are you just mad because Randy Orton's not in the main event?
I told her. She was like, she consulted me actually. She was
I believe
listen.
It. And I feel betrayed, Mark. I feel betrayed.
Well, she said, she said that when you have Daniel working every single weekend doing this boxing nonsense. When is there a free weekend? I'm like, I don't want him the weekend of WrestleMania. You take him. And she was like,
that's fair. I mean, I appreciate the cooperation.
I am here to help marriages stay together. That's my job.
Hey, Robert, saying is this. If I come home and Vince McMahon has been power slammed at some point the night before, we're in a fight.
We'll see what happens. So Robert Winfrey, who is doing written coverage for 401mania.com, has joined us mostly to make fun of my pronunciations and my dirty casualness. Right now, he's seething, Daniel Lasby. Do you know why he's seething?
From your dirty casualness?
Not just my dirty casualness, but my dirty casualness and my doing the gall that I have to do one of these live alternative commentaries for the sport that I only follow so casually.
That's fair. I mean, listen, you're still ahead of me. You're dragging me back into all these combat sports that I hadn't watched for 20 years. So
there it is. Mark is in fact a filthy casual when it comes to MMA.
I think you should get a nameplate. Mark the filthy casual.
Speaking, yeah, if someone could just send me a T-shirt that just says "filthy casual" on it, but like in the NWO letters, that'd be fantastic.
How do you not have a merch library already that's including these kind of T-shirts, man?
You know, that was a running gag for the longest time.
You've said 72,000 hours worth of content and not a single T-shirt. Have you learned nothing?
It's considering people have been doing podcasts for like 2 weeks and they start selling T-shirts. Yeah, I don't know why I don't sell them. But that was a running gag with Jesse and I. His wife Mindy. Every time like we would come up with a new catchphrase and a new gag on the Metal Hammer of Doom, we would just say, "Put it on a T-shirt, Mindy." And that's because Jesse actually has his own T-shirt. See, nobody in the Radulich and Broadcasting Network and our 72,000 hours of content has their own T-shirt, but Jesse has his own from the Kapow podcast.
Mark, my D&D campaign has his own T-shirt. You can make this happen. Like, this is an opportunity, man.
I'll work on it. See, I don't know, but see, like Mindy took the ball and ran with it for Jesse. You know, she made him his "I'm a Jesse" T-shirt. I think she also got him she made him like a Metal Hammer of Doom T-shirt. And I've hinted at my wife. I was like, "Are you ever gonna, make me a T-shirt?" She's like, "No, I don't love you that much."
Listen,
go do your stupid hobby.
By Independence Day, I'm getting a photo of Chris Bailey in a spandex unitard, putting it on a T-shirt and posting it as my background going forward.
Perfect. Make sure he's got some Star Wars stuff going on.
Oh, for sure.
Patrick Mullen, friend of the show, knows what I'm all about. He says, "Give Mark a T-shirt that says shitty content whore." You're not wrong, buddy. I'll lay down with anybody for any reason.
Hiya. I hope he ran that through Grammarly before he got started.
Hey, I missed this comment earlier. We're talking about doing the Korean Zombie pay-per-view because I loves me some Korean Zombie. And Patrick says, "Meh, Korean Zombie stinks and doesn't deserve a shot." So
okay, Patrick going hard.
Well, Patrick knows no other way but to go hard.
Okay.
Know that about him.
Okay.
Yes, and as I said earlier, I know Robert Winfrey. He says, "Blades versus Dacus don't make me cry." See, I told you. I know, Robert. I walked with him once upon a dream. All right, so we've now killed a sufficient amount of time in most of our live audience. We can actually start getting into the fight.
It's all right. Spivak's here. He's ready to go.
Yes, sir. Sergey Spivak gets his final instructions here, gets his grease, and he's about to get into the cage. I'm loving the bear tattoo with the cage background.
Shaved head bear tattoo. Make it happen.
Yes. I'm hoping the bear jumps out of his chest.
Well, at some point, he's going to have to get the matching tattoo on the other side that just says "Feed me." It just goes for it.
I hope so.
And it will always be better than Brock Lesnar's sword that looks uncomfortably phallic facing right up to his mouth.
Yeah, that. So I don't know if you know this or not, but it has been proven by science, that ever elusive science, that Cody Rhodes' neck tattoo is the reason we've been in this mess since 2020.
I'll believe that.
Yeah, okay. You've seen the neck tattoo, right? That started the currently ongoing virus of unnamed origin.
All I'm saying is they both have fashionable, sensible wives who also work in show business, and neither one of them stop them.
No, I don't. Can you stop Cody Rhodes? Can you stop Brock Lesnar? By the way, if you can find the TikToks of Brock Lesnar like butchering meat, you need to, because everybody needs the testosterone boost that comes in by osmosis by watching Brock Lesnar butcher meat.
Okay, yes. So, I mean, Brock Lesnar is a man-sized jar of protein powder. I will give you that. I guarantee the second he walks into the door and Sable's like, "Take your shoes off," he doesn't even argue it. He's just like, "Yes, man." And he rolls up his socks nicely, puts them inside his shoes, and takes the rest of his clothes to the laundry.
That is a man who makes sure the toilet seat is down. No question.
100%.
No, I don't doubt that for a moment. All right. We are ready to rumble here on UFC 272. Our opening match, Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy. And if you are a friend of ours currently watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, hey, come on in, leave us a comment. Obviously, some of my friends are here hanging out with us. I've put their funny comments on the board. So by all means, join the party. Let's interact. Let's have fun. That's what we're here for. Why do this if we're not going to have fun? Every Brock Lesnar visual aesthetic, from lumberjack to cowboy to Brock party, has been amazing. No kidding.
I'll take it
much more than these two jamokes in the cage.
Oh my God. Hardy looked like he forgot how to do the haka and then just posed it out.
Amazing. All right, here we go. I feel like I said that like a dozen times already. All right, they touch hands. We're finally underway. Round 1 of 3.
Okay.
Greg Hardy kicks us off first. He's flicking a jab out there. He's trying to get his distance ready. Leg kick. Spivak still just sort of absorbing, painting. Yeah. Not really doing much of anything just yet. You know, these heavyweights, man, first it could be slow and plodding and awful, and then over in a second.
Greg Hardy looks uncomfortably comfortable.
I think he's trying to goad Spivak into committing on something and then countering.
Okay.
All right, Spivak goes to shoot for the single, and he gets a nice judo throw to the ground, and now he's inside control. And I don't think things are looking good for Greg Hardy.
Greg Hardy's in a lot of trouble. He didn't contact on that while he was on his feet. I mean, he had a hot second where he fought going on the ground, but like he's in trouble, man. Yeah, Pat saying that that is a textbook takedown right there.
Spivak just did not take Greg Hardy's standing game seriously at all, and just manhandled him to the mat. And I don't think Greg Hardy's got anything for Spivak on the ground,
especially because he's taken a couple of shots since being down, and he looks tired already.
Yeah. He's a big boy, man. He's carrying a fair amount of meat on him. Big meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, big beefy boys are good, but like, listen, man, you got to have the gas.
Yeah. Spivak. So Hardy got back to his feet. Spivak took him down again. Hardy stands back up. And boom. Yep. Slams him down to the canvas. Spivak is just going for the ride, man. Greg Hardy cannot. First of all, he cannot get enough oxygen to get explosive and dynamic and get away. And we are going Donkey Kong here. Spivak just pounding ground and pound. No, and that's it. We're done.
Ugly. Okay.
Yep. That's all she wrote. And
thank you for your time, Master Hardy.
And I think we said that this was a showcase fight for Spivak, and he made the most of it. We talk about that with our boxing shows, that, hey, sometimes you get these showcase fights. You're supposed to win the fight. You need to make the most of your TV time. And Spivak just said, hey, are you not entertained? Sign me up for another one, man.
Yep. Hardy's dead over there.
Pat Mullen of the History of Boxing podcast and the Mania of WrestleMania says, most important part is Spivak making Hardy carry his weight. Yeah. He just rode his back and made him carry him.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, Hardy.
Yeah,
he looks like he was actually. They played the replay where he came back up. He looked like he was out for a second.
Yep, not a whole lot to say here. This is why
we do the full card.
This is why we do the full card. It's a long night, but it's worth it. So going back to UFC 273, our next pay-per-view. Looks like the main card, like I said, is Korean Zombie versus Alexander Volkanovski. Aljamain Sterling. This looks like it's a bantamweight unification fight against Peter Yan. At women's strawweight, we have Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres, all 3 feet of her. At middleweight, Kevin Gastelum. Oh, I like Kevin Gastelum versus Nasiruddin Imavov. And then kicking things off, it looks like on the main card is Irene Aldana versus Aspen Ladd, which I think will end up being just an eyesore, but I guess we'll see what happes. So, all right, not a bad night of fights, Daniel Lasby.
No, that's good.
I think we're gonna have ourselves a good time. All righty, let's go back to UFC 272 here.
Spivak almost looks like he would eat someone else right now. He's like, who else can you give me? Right now, I'm ready to go.
Pat said the ref should have let it go.
Oh, I think he was out. I think Hardy was already unconscious by. Right now, Hardy looks like he's going to have to go back to the locker room, and his mom's going to call him and ask him why he didn't stand up straight when he started out.
So Pat's calling me out. I think I mispronounced something I don't think I should have, but hey, I'm tired. Leave me alone. How did you mess up Kevin out of Kelvin, Mark? And also, Aspen is anything but an eyesore. She fights? Yeah,
question that. Mark?
Yes, so. Hey, one of our friends here from Twitch has joined us. He says Hardy showed up fat and got his ass whipped.
Agreed.
Like you do.
I agree.
You do. Absolutely. Pat says I wanted it to let go because Hardy beats women and I wanted to see him punished.
Right. Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Defender of women's honor worldwide. Pat
I mean, listen, maybe he'll fight Joe Rogan in a short-time comeback after this. It'll be great.
I have my wife and some friends on chat here are all chatting without me. My fucking messenger is just blowing up here. All right. Anyway, if you're, like I said, if you're watching, go ahead and drop us a line. You have Pat, who's active here in the chat. Robert's going to be coming in and out as he does written. Hey, check out Robert's online coverage for 401mania.com. If you're watching this at home and you want to see another place where people are interacting and writing comments and whatnot, check out his live coverage on 401mania.com. Robert does an excellent job covering the sport of MMA. And I will be right back. Dan, you take it over.
Take it over. I am very excited for the translation that's been going on. His very clean-cut betrothed friend here looking like he's living the dream. Joe Rogan, an absolute diplomat, discussing someone with a different language. Looking at the rest of the cards as we go along, I'm sure that Robert will call me out on it, but I'm a little... I kind of wish to be over the main event. I still think Masvidal can take this with a pretty good showing as long as he shows up steady. We'll see what happens. Mark has Doc Van Etten as his background. I'm going to have to ask him when he comes back if that is his aesthetic and what he's aiming to go for from an overall bodily look. Because if so, A, he's got to shave his head more, and B, he doesn't need a t-shirt because he's going for much more nudity. Could go either way. If you haven't already put a comment in the comments below, make sure you call out something that you liked about the show, something you didn't like about the show, or something that you want to see happen on the endless content tour that is the Mark Radulich Show and Affairs. And if you've got a match that you think that the over-under is way off, or you think that you got the underdog who's going to make a go of it, let us know that too. Let us know if you think that you disagree with one of our calls as far as who was set to win it. We're here for the content, but we're more importantly here for the back and forth.
Took myself out of the studio momentarily.
I saw. I was like, oh, no, it's my show now, I guess.
Hey, Sean Comer on Twitch, my buddy from the Long Road to Ruin. We have a show coming up this Monday night. We are going to be talking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, the remake from 2003, and the nonsense that was the Netflix movie that just dropped. Woof. Talk about this was not so much a long road to ruin as it was a sharp drop in quality. Yikes.
Not enough Korean zombies is what you're telling me.
Okay, so Robert Winfrey with some, and I want to get your take on this, okay? This is going to be the fun of the interaction here is we'll get some people throwing some ideas out there that we can react to. He says, I regret to inform you the Greg Hardy experiment will probably continue after that embarrassing loss. What do you think, Dan?
No, come on, man. I mean, I agree with him. I mean, he came into that match like he was an undefeated world heavyweight champion, but he looked like he was cut like a bag of milk. It's not what his promo picture looks like.
Cut like a bag of milk. Fantastic. Yes, Sean. The remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just fine. I have thoughts, but it is not the nonsense that was the Netflix one. As for Greg Hardy, apparently ESPN likes him for some reason. So we will see what we will see where that is concerned.
Why? Okay,
I guess
sure.
Robert Winfrey will maybe share his thoughts on why that is.
I got nothing.
Yeah. I'm just here to call the action, folks.
Like, that was a massacre, man. That was a straight up massacre.
Well, again, just kind of going over what all, like how, he looked like he couldn't get his wind going, and then when it became too hard for him to fight off the wrestling, he just gassed out, and it was only a matter of time after that.
I mean, Robert, I'm sure that you're right, but all I'm saying is, if he showed up in boxing like that, they would ask him to consider whether or not he was a serious contender. If he showed up in wrestling like that, you would know that everyone backstage did not like your face. And if he showed up in my house like that, my 9-year-old daughter would sass him from here to the wall.
Well, let me just say, there was a PBC fight. I talk about this all the time because it was like just amazing. There was a PBC fight where there was this one heavyweight that was so fat. How fat was he? He could not keep his shorts up. Like, they were literally falling off. He's on prime time network television, and his shorts are falling down, like to the point where the ref had to stop the fight to pull his shorts up.
Come on, man. I mean, listen, you can butterbean. You can show up and look like you got no business being there, and you're a sleeper.
Right, but if you're the king of the floor... Okay, so Butterbean did two things that were very effective. Ended fights in 4 rounds or less, kept his shorts up.
Kept his shorts up.
Okay, as long as you keep your shorts up, I don't care how fat you are. You could look like Abdullah the Butcher. Keep your pants up.
So just to clarify,
his pants kept falling down. Yes, sir.
If you come in and you're moderately overweight for a fighter, and your shorts are lower than, say, 1 inch below nipple, you got no business being there.
If I live out my wife's nightmare and my dream, and that is I enter the world of combat sports at super heavyweight.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm less than 6 feet tall, but over 300 pounds. Super heavyweight. Okay.
Yeah.
I will keep my shorts up.
Who's your first match?
Ooh, it's got to be one of the Paul brothers.
Oh, I'm in for it. I'm good for it.
Yeah.
I will buy you a pair of the Project Rock UFC sneakers.
Do you know how many times Pat and I have talked about me, like, managing him in boxing, but just taking out guys like Logan Paul? No, that is the dream. Not me, him. I just want to ride his coattails. But if I had,
but that's fine.
But if I had to,
you get to go to all the nice parties, because then all of the previous legitimate professional boxers are like, "Hey man, you want to come over to my house after? I'll get some drinks. Good job with that Paul boat, by the way."
So they just announced, and we, Pat Mullen, God, I could kill Logan Paul. The line forms to the left, Patrick Mullen.
It's lengthy.
Speaking of lines forming to the left, they just announced, and I want to get your opinion on this, Dan, that Khabib Nurmagomedov is going into the UFC Hall of Fame. What do you think?
Oh, that's all I got. Okay.
Okay. I think he retired undefeated, didn't he?
He did retire undefeated. Do you think that it was? I'm trying to think back to, like, I wasn't big into UFC at that point. Do you think that he had a bit of a field that wasn't as contentious as maybe some of his predecessors?
I think I want to say the height of the Khabib Nurmagomedov train was with Conor McGregor, but that's because of Conor McGregor's star power, not necessarily because he was the best fighter in the division.
Right.
I want to say, I think Khabib, they couldn't get him and Tony Ferguson in the ring together, and that's unfortunate. And that's not entirely Khabib's fault either. I mean, those two just could not figure things out. So I want to catch up with the chat room here. We have Robert Winfrey emphatically saying Khabib is the lightweight greatest of all time. Fair. And then Pat saying, I'd like to remind everyone that I saw Khabib coming before everyone else did. Mark and Robert are witnesses. You're so pretty, Patrick Mullen. You're so pretty. Hey, in Pat's defense, Ozzy once started a line of ants. But aside from that, he also saw Alexander Usyk coming. And here we are months later. Alexander Usyk has all but the one WBC in the ring title.
Cleaning it up.
When you want to know who's on the come up in the world of combat sports, you ask the Nostradamus himself, Patrick Mullen.
The face that runs the place.
If Mark is going to manage Pat, he needs a really ugly suit and be able to cut a hell of a promo. Hey, Jay, my wife says that I'm like the spiritual twin of Paul Heyman. So I can, believe me, put me in a nice suit, and a ball cap, and I will be just fine as Pat Mullins.
Listen,
Paul
just
Heyman
to head this train
manager.
off, you say Paul Heyman, is Robert going to say Brother Love?
No, I don't think. I think I'm more Paul Heyman than Brother Love, just not as good with money. Or maybe just as good as Paul Heyman with money, depending on which era we're talking about. Yeah, he has lost a lot of it, and so have I. So Robert says, if you look at his full career, you can nitpick, but he closed by finishing Conor, Dustin, and Gaethje in quick succession. So
okay,
he's not wrong there. He adds, I will corroborate Pat's call. He saw the first time Khabib fought and said, I think he could be lightweight champion. And he was. And now he's a current Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair point.
Robert Winfrey with a snarky little comment here. Not with your current lighting. You're probably more Brother Love at the moment.
Sin.
Boo.
Yeah. Rage from the cage.
I'm getting roasted in the comment section tonight. That's fine.
Listen, give the people what they want, Mark.
I do give the people what they want. That's what we're here for. The Radulich and Broadcasting Network. Pat drunkenly going crazy here. He says, cut away from her mid-sentence and we all do a shot. I'm going to just drink my vitamin water.
Well done.
He says, lighting only. Your personality and delivery is more Heyman. That's very true.
It's very sweet.
All righty. Mr. Sean Comey here just sending us fun little emoji people.
Okay.
Love it, guys. Keep it up, man. We're having a party. I'm hosting a party here, and you're all invited.
Hands up because he loves it. Do you think the guy that gets to be the photographer for all their like headshot promo shots is just loving his life? Oh, never mind. I'm also really enjoying Oliveira's entrance.
Okay. Yes, swivel them hips, baby. Woo!
I mean, he is praying at the Church of Margaritaville. He's gonna get murdered.
Maybe he'll salsa around the cage for us. Be fantastic.
I mean, I don't envy the grease guy who's gonna put the grease on him while he does the little hip action.
While he's swiveling. Will you stay still? No. No.
How many times after these grease ups do you think, well, the guys are like jacked and ready to go? Do you think that Dana's got to take like, hey, I'd like to enter a harassment lawsuit potentially? I just was told.
Well, that got weirdly intense.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Look at buddy. He's just waiting there. He's like, this is the least good striptease that I've ever been to.
Or he's saying this isn't the worst striptease I've ever had.
Or he's like, hey, listen, I've seen worse.
So Jay says, well, considering Mark is also a Jew from New York, all he needs is a 1980 cell phone and a Yankees hat. You're not wrong, brother. You're not wrong.
Okay.
Yes. And we appreciate your emojis, Sean. Hurry up and do work and then come to the party, pal. We're waiting for you.
Can you get New York cowboy hat Jew emojis on the go, please?
There you go. Work on that, Sean. Let's get some New York Jew emojis going. And big old cell phones. Remember that? Remember the Paul Heyman cell phone that was the size of a brick?
Yes. I have always wondered how Paul Heyman has never thrown his back out with the way that he walks to the ring in character. So that cell phone could not have helped. No,
he had to limber up, I'm sure. All right, so we are moving into our. That is the one thing. Like when we do the boxing, it's very much like we're hyper focused. It's that 1 hour of content, and we are on it with very little like side stories. We do these UFC ones, and there's so much downtime in between each one of these fights, especially when they end as early as they do. It's like, well, I don't even have any hopes of keeping this hyper focused. I'm just here to party.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that you have big time entrances in boxing where the guys think they're a lot of good. I've yet to see anyone like air hump the cage on the way through while like side straddling up the stairs.
Get it. Not the first time I've danced on a live stream. Get it. Get it. This is becoming a thing with me. Get it. We were doing our first ever actually video reaction to Shamrock to a music video for the Metal Hammer of Doom.
Yeah,
and it was for the Butch Vig mix of House of Pain's Shamrocks and shenanigans. Sorry. Robert Winfrey having to hold back vomit in his throat, saying, and sadly, it won't be the last time I dance on camera.
Okay. I mean, Robert, you could start a separate editorial commentary. I mean, 4-1 gonna love that.
Can we just stop? Can we just stop the whole thing right now and say that we've got ourselves a swivel hip off?
Yeah.
Both guys were like, oh, I will not be outdone.
I mean, it's a matter of time before one of them changes their nickname to the Limber Timber.
I want to see if they actually fight now. I want to, or if it's just like a dance off.
If they Sharks and Jets this up, like the crossroads of your life has come to its pinnacle.
Dude, have you seen West Side Story yet?
Yes.
My son's favorite scene is I can't remember the cop's name, but Officer McClarky or whatever the hell it's called. The dancing in that was insane.
It's madness.
And I want to see it happen here. All right, so Patrick says that this one is a loser leaves town match between Kevin Holland and Alex Oliveira. So we will see what happens.
Okay.
Officer Krupke, thank you, Pat. All right, everyone's just waiting with.
They all look very pleased to be here.
Hey, Daniel Lasby. Gee, Officer Krupke. Krupp you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out West Side Story on Disney Plus yet, if for no other reason, that scene is worth a watch.
Pat, I'll have you know I once played Constable Locke in The Music Man, so you hold it together over there.
I don't know what's going on in this chat that my friends and my wife are in, but somebody said, I'll bring the sax and we'll all take turns. I'm going to need context.
And a clean mouthpiece.
I'm having fun. Not since the Royal Rumble have I had this much fun doing one of these. I don't know how much interest of this is going to be after the fact when people listen to it, but gosh darn it, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Hang on.
I also personally really enjoy when the referees look more intimidating than the fighters. I'm a big fan of that.
I should stop paying attention to this chat and pay attention to the fight. Here we go.
Kudos to your wife, though. Well played.
Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira, round 1 in the welterweight division as we start off trading leg kicks. Holland in the black, Oliveira in the white. No swiveling of hips right now.
I mean, I'm already disappointed.
So Holland tried to lay in a leg kick there, and Oliveira lit him up in the face. Kevin Holland trying to figure out his best way in here, see what he can do.
He doesn't look, Holland doesn't look great. And he's extensively the odds-on favorite. Should have worn a cowboy hat.
Down goes Holland. Oh, and Olive. Now, see, that's weird because he caught him off balance. He bounced him into the cage, and he started laying in the strikes, and then all of a sudden he just backed off again. Oliveira did.
Questionable.
Holland committing to those leg kicks and getting hit every single time.
Yeah, change your strategy, brother. Oliveira's got your number on that.
For sure.
I mean, arguably, Holland got to change this to a ground game because standing up, he's getting put to bed.
Curious to see. Oh, big left there from Oliveira. He might have gotten. Holland might have gotten him there because he started to retreat for a moment.
Okay. Trade it up.
Patrick says that Holland doesn't really have a ground game. So we'll see if they keep this on the feet or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of tentativeness.
Okay, so Oliveira chopped him down with a leg kick, and now he's got him on his back. He's standing in his guard. Holland is trying to hold on to a leg there. Oliveira transitions, gets the back, takes him down again. Oof. Big slam. Holland gets back to his feet, though.
Not great.
We're halfway through round 1 here. This isn't looking good for Holland. Oh, again, big one-time punch there from Holland. Gives Oliveira something to think about.
He's taking a lot of hot shots here.
This is the one frustrating thing about striking in mixed martial arts is that there tends to be a lot of one punch and then back away, one punch and then back away.
It's a questionable choice for sure. When you got him, like he's had him a couple of times where you had him clearly unraveled.
Right. Yeah, there's a frustrating pattern of not following up in mixed martial arts striking that I've noticed. And granted, striking mixed martial arts is not striking in boxing. I get that. But still, throw a combination, follow something up, especially if you can sneak one through the window.
I mean, maybe it's the fear of overcommitment because a couple of times Holland's come in and either Oliveira shrugged it off and came back around on him, or he caught him early. He caught his foot.
You have to be careful. You don't want to overcommit on striking because then you leave your legs open for a takedown. And that's certainly a thing you have to look out for. But I'll tell you, where Oliveira has probably done his best work has been with those leg kicks. He's really chopped Holland down a few times.
Yeah. We're going to have to touch base with Robert, but it looks like suitcase might already be packed for Master Holland.
His bags are packed and he's ready to go.
Yeah, they're in the dressing room.
He's waiting there outside your door. All right. 18 of 41, 44% for Holland, 19 of 35, 54% for Oliveira. We are less than a minute here going towards the end of round 1.
I'm not sure where Holland's going to go with this. At this point, his striking game is non-existent, and if he's got no ground game, he's in a lot of trouble.
He's very overly reliant on those leg kicks, and he's not having nearly the effect. See, again, Oliveira just chopping kicks. Gets him by the waist, rolls through, tries to take him down. Oh, he's got 5 seconds. Will he? Nope. Holland, he's got him in the rear naked choke, but Holland's just going to sit there and kill the clock.
Saved by the bell.
I don't think he was in trouble there. It would have been interesting to see if he had had another minute, what Oliveira would have done. But at the end of the day, if you look at Holland, even though he was in something of a rear naked choke, he didn't seem to be really in any trouble of sorts. Catching up here in our chat room, we have Jay who says, it's the treat of the clinch and takedown, which is why guys don't want to throw too much in combinations. And Pat says, Holland doesn't offer more than one strike at a time, so Cowboy is free to step into range and land as long as he's throwing more than one strike and usually lands as a result.
Agreed.
Threat. Yes. I saw treat and I'm like, I'll just read it as is, but I don't know if that's right. Yes, Jay. Thank you. Threat, not treat.
I mean, listen, Holland put the thumbs up while he was down in the choke, but I mean, he's also melting himself off as he goes to the corner.
You got to remain confident. You have to project an air of confidence in these combat sports. Round 2. Okay. Here we go. Yes, Pat. Treat Williams does rock. All right. As we start here, a lot more feinting. Jesus Christ. Holland. Someone in his corner should tell him to knock it off with the leg kicks already.
I don't think his corner told him anything. I think they were like, all right, get back out there.
Doing great, champ. Oh, Holland with the big hit. And down goes Oliveira. He's hitting him with the ground and pound. One shot after another. Just laying in those rights. Just Donkey Kong. Oh, elbows. Is the ref going to stop it? Yes.
Come on.
Holland lives to fight another day. Christmas has come early and we all got a goose.
That is ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness. If you had money on Alex Oliveira, you're going to have to explain where your paycheck went to your wife. My goodness.
Hoo-wee.
Our comment section is shocked, I tell you.
Silence. I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Silence over the crowd. So Patrick's take on that was Holland finally throws a combination, but I think Oliveira earns a stay of execution for spirited effort. Fair enough. I mean, he was doing good until he was doing good in the fight until he wasn't. I mean, I think the consensus was that Oliveira won the first round, which I would not disagree with.
I agree.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. He must have gotten rocked pretty hard because the whole time he was on the ground, he had every opportunity to try to grab wrist control, try to get some separation, and he just kind of stood there with his hands up, and that was it. That was all she wrote.
Watching the replay, he does lose his feet after he takes the shot on the chin, but it didn't look like it was a huge shot.
You know, it's hard to say. Sometimes, and I've seen this too. So I always like to tell this story because for a lot of people it looked like the fix was in. But you ever see the shot that Randy Couture takes from Brock Lesnar? It looked like it was a pulled punch, and that Randy Couture took a bump. But none of us were there in the cage. We don't know how hard it was, and and if it was legitimate or not. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it wasn't, but it didn't look like much. Is the point that I'm trying to make to what you're saying? It didn't look like Brock Lesnar hit him that hard. Meanwhile, Randy Couture went ass over tea kettle, and Brock Lesnar became heavyweight champion.
There's that unknown challenge too of like you look at Randy Couture at that point in the game. He had taken so much lifetime damage.
Absolutely.
That, you can make that argument that it only takes one.
Oh, absolutely. You know, they say in combat sports that once you have your button pushed in, it's hard to undo that.
It's all over.
You know, it's forever, unless you're Andrei Arlovsky. It takes a lot to bounce back, and a lot of fighters don't do it. You know, it's the second half of their career on the downward slope usually. I mean, Alistair Overeem has taken some good beatings, and he occasionally will bounce back and get another win under his belt. But there aren't a lot out there like good old Mr. Horsemeat.
No, there's definitely guys who have got like 3/4 of an inch of extra skull plating. Like if you think about the Shamrock Boys, the beatings that they took into course, and then still won championships.
Jay Royce was like to remind us that Brock Lesnar's fists are the size of bricks.
Not untrue.
Big old house building bricks.
Yeah, I don't run around the block, let alone run around the block with a telephone pole on my shoulder. So,
Sean Comer saying he did punch the soul out of Heath Herring through the man's eye socket. He really did. That was some Temple of Doom shit right there. Molaram Sularam. Good grief. Overeem also wrongly cut. Bring him into a fight for the title again. He's happy doing, I think, K1 now. I'll be curious to see what he ends up doing with Glory. Just where I think I saw him last. Overeem's like a zillion years old at this point.
And I mean, it's not like he hasn't had a bunch of paydays. He doesn't need the money. He's only still in it because he likes it.
All right, we see some shots of the crowd here. As we kill time for our... Oh, look at that. It's Morbius himself.
God.
Good old Jared Leto, the Joker.
There you go. That's who your first fight can be. You can warm up on Jared Leto, and then you can move on to one of the Paul boys.
I suspect there is a lot of people in the world that would like to see me punch Jared Leto right straight in the mush. I mean, I don't have a problem with him, but I'm saying I think there are other people who would pay good money for that. You
wouldn't be hurt, no, for sure.
So Patrick Mullen with some sleazy business here. He's got some tabloids for us. He says, "Wonder if Joanna is still sliding into Cody's DMs." Hubba hubba. All right then. Sean with the Joker emoji. Thank you, Sean. All right, and we are just tearing through this card here. We are up to our midway point here. This might be over before they actually got to the main event last night on ESPN. My goodness.
3:30 in the morning, Mark. I went to bed at 3:30 in the morning.
Walked in and your wife was like, "How was your fight?"
Oh no, I'm a smart man. I slept on the couch. I knew exactly what it was on.
All right. So as we wait for our next fight here, one of the sponsors for this pay-per-view is the new Michael Bay movie, Ambulance. You into Michael Bay movies? Do you like the boom, explosion, ka-pa?
I mean, I appreciate his vision for the big-time explosions.
Sure.
I mean, there's the challenge of how many big-time explosions can you watch? And was he not also responsible for Transformers with balls?
He was. Best Transformers movie ever, except for Age of Extinction. Because, and I don't know if you know this or not, what we all really, really wanted was to see a nutsack on a Transformer.
I mean, who doesn't?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. See,
you could have truck nuts, or you could have truck nuts on a sentient truck.
I mean, I'm not here to kink shame. Pat with some interesting opinions here that I'm sure will make Robert Winfrey cry. He says Wahlberg movies are greater than all. And now a word from not our sponsor, Doritos.
Patrick Mullen.
Doritos sweet chili nachos are the tits.
I'll give you that. Those are good.
They are. You know what's also good? Daniel Lasby of the Screaming Boy podcast.
Hit me up.
Grammarly, don't you understand? For you,
Patrick Mullen is killing it for Grammarly.
For you listeners of our alternative commentary that we like to do here on these weekends, Grammarly is offering a free download of the Grammarly software. Grammarly's AI-powered products help people communicate more effectively. Grammarly helps you write mistake-free on Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and nearly anywhere else you write on the web. Grammarly corrects hundreds of grammar, punctuation, and spelling mistakes while also catching contextual errors, improving your vocabulary, and suggesting style improvements. To download Grammarly today, go to getgrammarly.com/W2M network. Again, that's getgrammarly.com/W2M network to download Grammarly for free. So I cut 3 minutes out of all of my shows now, and I upload them to TikTok.
Yeah.
And sometimes I will write down a time code when, you know, there's a poignant point being made or a funny story or something like that. Something that makes for a good 3 minute clip to let people know that we're fun and smart guys and they should listen to us.
Okay.
And
I keep telling people that. I don't know that it's working out.
And I think I'm just going to throw a dart at this one. Because wherever the dart lands, I'm going to go plus or minus 3 minutes, and that's going to be the clip. Because this is all gold right here.
It's going to be a victory dance. And your next message coming from Robert is going to be him sending you the link for Grammarly after frying you up with the opening of your pronunciation.
So someone's going to start sending me Hooked on Phonics books.
Oh, yeah.
English as a second language.
Oh, man. ABC Mouse for the win.
I don't like to pronounce names well. So, while the UFC tells you about Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, I'm going to tell you about the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. Here's what we got going on this coming week. Tomorrow, we have a re-airing of Batman Hellboy Starman, the comic book. Plus, hey, Sean Comer of The Long Road to Ruin, he got me to watch the Dollars trilogy with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, man.
Fistful of Dollars, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, a few dollars more. We did that one a few years ago, and I'm re-airing that on Sunday, shortly after this pay-per-view goes off the air, as a matter of fact. Right. So check that out tomorrow. That's going to be a fun re-listen. And then we'll have a re-airing of Joker 2019, Robert Winfrey and I reviewing Finding Dory from, I think, 2016. And then Sean Comer will be back in the evening, and we will talk about the aforementioned Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. Mm-hmm. Then we've got another re-airing of a source material we did for Joker 2008 by Brian Azzarello. And then finally, we have reached the glorious conclusion, don't you understand, of Batman Week, which started 8 months ago. And is finally wrapping up with our review of all 3 hours of The Batman. I will save my thoughts about that movie for Tuesday night, but just know that I was vibrating, Daniel Lasby. I was vibrating when I came out of that theater. I was so happy. So
I mean, we've discussed your wife's opinion of Robert Pattinson, so I'm going to just let sleeping dogs lie on that and hope that it wasn't sparkly.
She was still on that shit about Robert Pattinson. She hoped Batman would bomb so that Robert Pattinson would do porn, and she was joined by a chorus, I tell you, of both men and women hoping that Robert Pattinson would abandon his acting career for porn. less enthusiastic about it, but more so because I just wanted the Batman movie to be good. If Robert Pattinson wants to do Batman, but also porn, I'm on board. I'm just saying.
What you need to happen is you need him to promote it by splitting the difference, going on a wrestling show and like rolling around in the ring.
Anyway, moving on. Wednesday we'll have a review of AEW Revolution, and then the Metal Hammer of Doom we'll be doing. This is Jesse's pick. Jesse's going to push me in the pool, and he's going to take over the Metal Hammer of Doom. We're going to be reviewing a Legion. Damn num 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 num. Get him jit him. And then Pat and I will be looking at Hagler versus Hearns, Chapter 8 of our 4 Kings of Boxing. We'll take a break on Friday and Saturday. Once again, back again, Sean Comer and I start our 2-part look back at the Hunger Games. These are re-airs. We did these a few years ago, but they were really fun shows from what I remember, and we split those 4 movies into 2-part podcasts. So part 1 will air on April 12th, and then part 2 will air on Sunday, April 13th. And just because I'm going to be on vacation, Daniel Lasby, does not mean I'm going to leave the people without the goodness that is the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. No.
You're a generous soul.
The content never stops here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. So one of the earliest Long Road to Ruins that we ever did was my best friend Tom from New York, where all the Jews come from, but he's not Jewish. Okay. He's Italian.
Yeah.
We had a debate after we went to go see Revenge of the Sith in Orlando, right at Disney, whatever the Disney Walk Hollywood studio thing is. Downtown Disney. We saw Revenge of the Sith there, and we had one of those where I walked out and I'm like, that was amazing. And he walks out and he was like, that sucked. And I'm like, wow. And then we spent like a couple of teenage girls. We just fought about it for hours. We went from the movie theater all the way through downtown Disney, all the way back to the hotel, and all night long, all we did was debate that movie. And I'm like, I got to do this on a podcast some year. So we did. And Sean Comer moderated it for us. So we debated the merits of Revenge of the Sith versus Return of the Jedi. That'll air on the 14th. It is the, I think, 40th anniversary of the first publication of Alan Moore's V for Vendetta, and might I also add Fuck Firestorm. So we did a comic strip during Alan Moore Month a few years ago, and I'm going to re-air that V for Vendetta show in conjunction with the 40th anniversary of the publication of that comic. So look for that comic strip, V for Vendetta, on March 15th. Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, Daniel Lasby. Get a load of this. Remember,
favorite holiday of the year.
Absolutely. Did you jump around in your youth?
I did jump around.
Yeah.
I jumped up and I jumped up and I got down.
Didn't we all? I don't know about you, but not only did I jump around, I put on my shit kickers and I kicked some shit.
Okay, yeah.
So we are going to, it's the 30th anniversary of the release of House of Pain's Fine Malt Lyrics. And myself, Jesse Starcher, and Robert Cooper reviewing it just in time for the anniversary and St. Patrick's Day. But that's not all. The St. Patrick's Day festivities aren't over, because the Protocol son, Jason Teasley, and I reviewed Leprechaun, one of Jennifer Aniston's seminal works. Fantastic.
Jennifer Aniston.
She's so good in Leprechaun. It's amazing. It's just like a perfect role. It
is the perfect role. I completely agree.
She just plays a bratty asshole, and I don't think she's ever been better than that. And then we close out the week that I'm on vacation with yet another re-air. This time it's London Has Fallen from a few years ago. Robert Winfrey and I reviewed it because we had nothing else to do that week, and that'll re-air then. And then I'm back on Saturday, and we have two alternative commentaries. First, in the middle of the day, in theory, assuming it's on pay-per-view somewhere, we'll have the heavyweight match in the history of boxing, Thor versus Eddie. And Stuart Lang will be doing his first alternative commentary for that, voluntarily even. And then
I cannot believe that Eddie was back in on that match after he was out. Like, that was his chance. Run away.
And then you, Daniel Lasby, you'll be back too as we jump into, and this time we know when it's going to take place. Not at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
It'll be Edward Berlanga versus Steve Rolls on Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Check that out for us, if you please. We have a friend on YouTube who says, "Are you going to show the fight here?" No, because that's illegal. Sorry. Also, I don't know where you can watch it for free, but if you ask around, people will whisper it in your ear with their hot breath. It's fine. So, so as I was going through all of that, I missed a lot of these comments. Let's catch up. Here we go in rapid succession as we wait for our friends here to get into the ring. If you put Batman on a movie, it makes money. Always a safe bet.
That's fair.
I saw the Batman today, and I was happy with it. Okay. Pro wrestling, the halfway point between legitimate acting and porn. You're not wrong.
I'm good for it. It is the soap opera of the male kingdom, and I am down.
I am not here to kink shame. I'm going to use it at some point and piss off so many wrestling fans. Yeah, you are. Sean Comer.
Sorry, I'm confused what he's using. Is it porn?
Sean Comer and I on the same page here. We might get on board with Robert Pattinson splitting his time between naughty movies and Batman movies.
Okay. I mean, he's going to make money at it.
I mean, I make money where you can find it. You're not going to be young forever. I love that a man from farm country uses the twister to finish people. Bryce Mitchell has a bright future. Let's see here.
Bryce Mitchell.
Here he is. You really want to piss off wrestling fans? Just say Okada versus Omega was overrated. That's cause for like a mass.
No, okay. I was going to make a crack about how you'll know when the porn is coming up for Robert Pattinson when the next villain is Octomom, but then I got sidetracked.
Pat Mullen reminding me that I'm illiterate. Edward Berlanga, you troglodyte.
Grammarly.com. Here we go.
Grammarly. This has been brought to you by Grammarly.com, which will not help me with my pronunciation bridges. All right. So now that we're caught up in the fun chat, and I want to again remind everybody, no, I'm not going to put the fight on screen. That's how you get demonetized.
Robert, I need you to pitch that if Bryce Mitchell loses this match, that he changes his nickname. Nobody that small and white can use that nickname.
All right, here we go. We are up to Edson Barboza versus Bryce Mitchell here at featherweight at UFC 272. At this point, every once in a while, I'll go to check the chat that I was telling you about before, but they're so far into whatever sexy conversation they're having. I'm like, yeah, I give up. I'll figure this out later.
That's 427 messages to pick up at a later date.
Dude, let me tell you, before we start this fight, let me just tell you how I was like, listen, I'm picking up my kids. I'm going to the bookstore to see the Batman and get Chinese food. I don't want to hear from none of y'all. I muted all my chats. I turned my phone off. I disconnected. Understand? And when I turned my phone back on, I had like a zillion messages. They were like chats that had been going for hours. And I'm like, I can't catch up on all this. All right. Pat says this is going to be fight of the night. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Barboza got to keep on his feet, right? Mitchell takes him to the ground. He's in a lot of trouble.
I believe you are correct. All right. So Barboza coming out with a very leg kicky pay-per-view we've had so far.
I mean, at least Barboza has some proven success with those leg kicks, and it's not two Q-tips flailing at each other.
Come on, give me some of that spin kick action, Barboza. Woo!
Oh my!
Another leg kick there from Barboza.
You got to capitalize on this. Mitchell's going to take him to the ground.
Yeah, Bryce is closing in on him. I think he's trying to see if he can get his timing down, so when he throws another kick, he'll be off balance and he can take him down.
And he's spun a couple times now.
But but it's not like Barboza doesn't know what he's doing on the ground either. So we'll see what happens.
No, for sure.
Bryce not committing. So this is one of those deals where if Bryce doesn't start to make some moves here, he's going to lose this round simply due to inactivity.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I think most of his wins have been for him, like charging in for the spear and taking him down quick, right?
Mm-hmm. So Edson Barboza is just circling around the cage, and Bryce Mitchell happy to let him do it. He threw a punch, but it was just an excuse to try to get some control over the head. Edson Barboza is able to slide away. Oh, Bryce Mitchell with the big time punch there on Edson Barboza, and he momentarily goes down on his butt, and now Bryce Mitchell is on him like a cheap suit. Cheap suit, Daniel Lasby.
Yeah. He cut him off. He steered him right to where he wanted him. And he shook him hard when he took that kick. Mitchell's in a good spot. Barboza's
I'm liking the groundwork here from Mitchell. Did you see? Barboza tried to post with his hand, and Mitchell just took it right out from under him.
Like, you're right. Barboza's got some ground skills, but like, this is what I thought Mitchell needed to do: take him down, control the ground, and he's got a good ground game.
Sean Comer with an amusing muse here. Violent leg kicks everywhere, like a fucking Rockette riot in this place.
Everyone knows you have to be at least 5'10" and blonde to be a Rockette.
Do you have to be blonde?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's changed like in the last 5 years, but previously, like, it's really stringent. It's crazy.
Just all Norwegian blonde chicks, huh?
Weight. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a weight limit, there's a height limit, there's a hair color limit, and they measure how high you can kick.
So, all right. So Bryce Mitchell controlling him against the cage here, just not giving him an ounce of space. He is right up in his guard, his grill, in his soul, just everywhere.
I feel like this is the longest round.
The high crotch takedown is the highest percentage takedown attempt. The high crotch is the foundation of Khabib and DC success, not accidental.
There you go.
No argument there. Good old high crotch Robert Pattinson. That man has legs that go all the way up to his waist.
There you go. I thought you were going to go with nipples, and I was going to be like, that's some science.
No, I actually had a friend say that was like, wow, she has legs that go all the way up to her waist. It's like, you mean where legs go?
Yeah, where the regular legs are?
Yeah.
Mitch is doing a good job, though, switching around where he's getting some blows in.
Still working from that guard position. My God, could we see another ground and pound finish tonight?
I mean, Barboza's barely holding on. He's barely keeping him up.
He has had to work a lot to stop Mitchell from progressing on his ground game, but it might just be enough to wear him down to where he can really do some damage in the next round, because I don't think he's going to finish it in this first.
No, it's but he's got to be exhausted at this point. Like,
Jay Royce right now has the leading comment of the evening. It's a shame it's harder to be a Rockette than it is to be a governor. You're not wrong, sir. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm focusing on the comments and the fight. I don't feel like playing with my buttons tonight. But yeah, that would be a
I mean, I think that New York's governor got the high crotch game on lock.
There are quite a few governors throughout the United States on both sides of the aisle that got a good high crotching going on.
Yeah, come on.
All right. Edson Barboza is trying to pull off fancy kicks here. Looks like he's got some blood under the nose. Both these guys are on their feet. This time, we've got Bryce Mitchell, who's circling against the cage. Edson Barboza doesn't know what corner he's in. It's a mess. Edson Barboza is not looking good. Like that first round was about as long as World War I.
That was the full tank, and he's got to come out and start for the next round on his feet.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I feel like the last 15 seconds he tried to like get some points back, but Mitchell dominated that round.
Patrick Mullen says Mitchell doubling up. Mitchell doubling up body head like a boxing body puncher, working on a guy over in a corner. Well done.
Agreed.
And Sean Comer welcoming into the streamer life. Yeah, man, this is what I do with my weekends. My wife has sexy chats. I do sexy live coverage with Daniel Lasby.
I'm just going to put my microphone on mute for a minute. It's going to be great. I'm just going
to leave me out here I'll just keep reading stuff off my schedule.
Listen, man, if you're going to cover sports and you're going to pitch softballs like that, I tell you
what. Speaking of softballs, round 2. All right, get the stupid advertisement off the screen. Like right in the middle of the fight. Tell the guys in the truck in the UFC to wake up. All right, so yeah, Edson Barboza, I was just gonna say, is throwing some lazy off balance punches, and Bryce Mitchell just took him down like he's supposed to.
Yeah. Like, there's no way Barboza can't hold on for this whole round, can he?
Yeah, like, we've exhausted 30 seconds of a 5-minute round, and Bryce Mitchell is already on top of.
God,
Bryce Mitchell's already on top of Edson Barboza, as Sean Comer just sweaty with anticipation, saying, "You at least got to see some hip swivels." We sure did, Ollie.
That's valid. Price of admission paid.
Just all kinds of swiveling hips like helicopters. It's like a hula contest. All that to say, Bryce Mitchell is chest to chest with Edson Barboza, just right up in his guard. Oof.
Is Mitchell cut?
Maybe
it's just his eye. Looks like he might be cut on his left eyebrow.
That's possible. I mean, he is rubbing his head into Edson Barboza's face.
Yeah, it's some pretty heavy foreplay.
Oh, it looks like there's some blood behind the ears there and on his shoulder. Oof. Okay, well, that might be Edson Barboza who's cut, and Bryce is just wearing the blood like Braveheart.
Yeah, smearing it all over himself like a battle cry.
Yeah. I had a girl do that to me on a date once. It's like, you got a little something here. She's like, "Oh yeah, mashed potatoes."
And then you married her.
Almost. She's the one that got away, Daniel.
She's the one that got away in the cop car.
You know me too well. All right. Anyway, back to the fight. Hey, if you're like, why aren't they calling the fight? Nothing's happening.
Barboza's dead in the water. He's bleeding hard. He's barely holding onto his guard.
They switched from the middle of the mat to against the fence. That's it. That's what happened in all that nonsense. So what Bryce is doing, like I said, he's putting pressure on Edson Barboza. He's making it difficult for him to breathe. He's not giving Edson Barboza not a lot of opportunities to reverse or grab wrist control or anything like that. And so at this point, he's just wearing Barboza's muscles out.
And every time Barboza tries to switch up his guard, he's just giving him a shot here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, and Edson Barboza looks way tired right now, just bleeding from above his eye. He's breathing with his mouth open. And Bryce Mitchell is desperately trying to pass guard. Edson Barboza can't create enough space to get Bryce off of him. They're both standing, but Bryce has him by the back, and he forces him back to the ground again. Edson Barboza inches towards the cage.
Oh my God, this round is an eternity.
So Pat says that he sees Bryce maybe finishing this off with a twister. Guess we'll see.
Full cowboy country for Thug Nasty.
All right, so it looks like Mitchell's trying to pass here by bunching up the legs. Yep, he gets his back. He's starting to get his back. We might see another stoppage here by ground and pound.
I mean, Barboza looks bad.
So Bryce is pounding on him, but I think the objective here is to pound on him until he can give up the neck for a rear naked choke. Yeah, I'll tell you what, they might just stop it because he's getting pounded.
He's just getting murdered.
He's not. If Bryce throws a few more punches in there and he doesn't defend himself, that might just be enough to stop this. He's also bleeding really badly. I mean, like,
he's not competitive at this point.
No, he's hanging by a thread, to be sure. Yeah, that's never a pleasant thing unless you like that sort of thing where someone's got their elbow in your neck.
No, not great. I mean, even if Barboza comes out the backside of this round, which it looks like he might, what do you come into 3 with?
He lost a piece of his ass in there, that's for sure. And Pat's going to venture with a hot take, 10-8 round. I'm almost inclined to agree with you. I think I forget that that's an option, but yeah, if you could make a case for a 10-8 round here, this would be the one to make.
Okay.
All right, and that's it. Just about towards the end of the round, Bryce got off him, gave him a little kick in the tushy, and said, "That's to remember me by." And now we're into round 3.
I mean, he definitely didn't come out of the backside of that round like he did the first one where he tried to put some pep back in his step.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what do you think they're saying to Edson Barboza in the corner?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to continue?
Yeah, definitely.
Look at the replay there. He caught him coming in and then immediately took him down. That was some good stuff there. All right. That's where he opened him up right there with the elbow.
Yeah. You're spinning the heel kick coming out of the beginning of round 3. That's his only real chance. Because you know that Mitchell's going to want to take him down straight away. He's exhausted.
Yep. I don't think Edson Barboza could stop him now if he tried.
No. If Mitchell comes charging in, like he's done. So he's got to catch him with some big strikes, or he's over.
All right. Jay says, "Here comes the knee." And so what happens here? Edson Barboza knows that he's got to finish to win it.
Agreed.
So he comes out hot and ready to dance.
Come on. Hail Mary for the win. That's what you got.
Oh, okay. Bruce Mitchell went for what looked like a roundhouse, and Edson Barboza caught him, and he knocked him on his butt.
I mean, there's a case to be made. Like, how tired is Mitchell at this point?
I don't know.
He's had to work hard to keep him down.
Yeah, I mean that was a lot of energy expended to not get a tremendous amount going. He worked very, very hard for very, very little gain. And I'll tell you, he came out looking a little tired too in this last round.
Agreed. And even arguably like a little tentative. I would have expected he would have come flying at him right out of the beginning of this round.
Well, there you have it. Bryce Mitchell takes him down. Textbook. Absolutely textbook.
You're dead, Barboza. Like, you got to get out of there, man. And I don't think you get the gas to do it.
So Mitchell is 4-4-4, 100% takedowns.
Yeah, and he loves that head under the chin. Like, just no room to breathe and no room to move.
So Pat, with some analysis here for us to consider. Mitchell did well to disguise the takedown by throwing rear hand leads. Level change, well camouflaged.
I agree.
All right, and now he's working to pass guard. Edson Barboza has him in a body lock. We might be at a stalemate here, unless he can create some separation and start pounding on Barboza. Because even if he doesn't necessarily knock him out, if he throws high enough volume from the guard, he might get a stoppage. He'll definitely win the round, for sure. And thus the fight.
I mean, if Mitchell was a bigger guy at this point, he'd lift him up and drop him hard.
We have less than half the round left and almost 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You asked for it.
There it is.
Okay, well, that wasn't so much a slam as it was a drop.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have the weight for it, but I mean, that's what he's trying to do. You got to try to break him up.
Yeah.
Barboza's exhausted.
And Barboza's just doing everything he can to, at the very least, stop any kind of forward progression for Mitchell. But all he is just taking damage and
barely hanging on.
Right.
I mean, he's hanging around. And as we talked about, like, this is a huge amount of energy for Mitchell to be exerting, especially with that lift, to not really make any big headway. I mean, he's got control of him. He's got him down, and he's putting in shots here and there. But
all right, Pat here with some more analysis that Sean Comer has been saying he's loving. Mitchell made Barboza have to hang on him. He didn't have anything in the tank, so he slumped off, and Mitchell retained top position. Yeah, I mean, at this point,
that's fair.
Barboza is just hanging on for the ride, and he's
bleeding like stuck pig.
I don't think Mitchell's going to finish this the way things are going, unless Barboza makes an egregious error. But yeah, it's been all one-way traffic for Mitchell here.
I mean, Barboza's experience is really the only thing keeping him in this right now.
He's been in the UFC for a very long time. In fact, how old is he? Let's see. Edson Barboza is currently 36 years old, man. I think, he might be considering what else he can do with his time. His let's see here. So his last fight was in August of last year, and that was a loss. He had 2 wins before that, and then he had 3 losses before that. So he's like 50-50 here.
Like, has he had any big wins that weren't big strike wins? He clearly knows what he's doing on the ground. Like, he's holding on, and he knows the right things to do, just kind of like keep Mitchell just away from where he wants to be. But
he had a decision against Amir Khani October 11th of 2020.
Elbows to finish this round are just not. Oh, yeah.
All right, and I think we're done here. Yep. Yeah, they're hugging. No twister, Pat. No twister.
Too bad.
Yeah, it would have been nice. That's always a fun one.
I mean, when we talk about what we talked earlier in the night, as far as like you got some TV time, make a good showing for yourself. I think Mitchell looked okay, but like I don't think he dominated that in the way that he wanted to. I like the respect, though.
Indeed. All righty.
Decision win.
So Pat says that's probably a 10-8, and he's going to call it at 30-25. I'll be curious to see what the scores are here for this.
Yeah, I think that's a good bet.
All right, we'll see what happens here as we wait for the scores.
I mean, no doubt that Mitchell controlled it. No doubt that Mitchell got his points, but like, definitely not the like dominant put away of an elder statesman that you think that you would want to go for. Barbosa looks rotted.
Wow. 30-25, 30-26, and 30-27.
Yeah, man.
All right. So Jay Roy says Barbosa has always struggled with guys who pressure him. It's very true.
Fair enough.
Barbosa has, like I said, he's always had some like good like highlight wins in his career, but
sure.
Not always a consistent performer.
He's got those exciting striking wins.
All right, so we're going to move on here. We're still in the ring there with Bryce Mitchell. Coming up next, we've got our co-main event, Rafael Dos Anjos and Renato Moicano.
Dos Anjos.
I'm sure I mispronounced, but that's fine.
Moicano? Renato Moicano?
Sean says it sounded just listening to us that it should have been 3-10-7 rounds. I mean, I just call him as I see him. I don't got a dog in this hunt, but I know what I'm looking at. Moicano, Pat says. Moicano. Pat's going to take my hand and walk me across the pronunciation bridge and then throw me off of it.
I think I said Moicano. Renato Moicano. Rafael Dos Anjos.
I'm the one I'm doing this sound, Moicano.
I mean, I feel like since we've thrown out the New York Jew pitch, you're staying true to your heritage.
My father mispronounces everything, and my grandfather mispronounces everything. So I come by it naturally. Like 3 generations of people born in this country who can't speak the language.
I mean, maybe you can get one of your kids to pre-record all of the names of the people before you start, and you just press a button on your magic pad there.
There you go. I'm just gonna start calling everybody George and Steve.
Buddy Green Trunks against Steve in the Black Trunks. Here we go.
There we go. So for those of you who are interested, the very first time Dan and I did a UFC pay-per-view was for the Ngannou fight, where I told the Ronda Rousey story, and then I used that for my TikTok. We'll come back on the 9th for the Korean Zombie fight, just because I like the Korean Zombie, and there's either no boxing, or the boxing there is on DAZN. So
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Taxes are expensive in Canada.
We have a Chuck Liddell sighting. How about that? But we've done a bunch of Robert and I used to do them. Robert Winfrey and I used to do them all the time. And he would split his time between doing his written coverage and this. And he did his best to try to stay focused on what he was doing for the site, but also being able to interact with me. But it became a little too much, and so eventually I stopped. But I liked getting back into covering some of these bigger UFC fights.
Sure.
As far as some more boxing that we've got going on, I mentioned the Berlanga fight coming up on the 19th. Berlanga. We've also got Miguel Burkelt versus Jeremiah Nakatila on ESPN on March 26th. We'll be back for that one. And then I'm going to let Daniel Lasby have the week off so that he can go be with his lovely wife for WrestleMania. But the Podsman and I, first of all, we got a stacked week of wrestling ahead of us in terms of live coverage. We've got the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, because Tony Khan will not let that company die for some reason. And I'm going to get Bill Yankovic of the That Wrestling Show here on the W2M network. He's going to do that one with me once I get back from taking my kids to go see Morbius. And then the next day, April 2nd at noon, myself and Christian of X-Lapsed and whatever other comics he's covering, we'll be doing NXT Stand and Deliver. And then it's night 1 of WrestleMania. We will either have one or all the Podsmen for that one. And then on March 3rd, we've got April 3rd, we've got night 2 of WrestleMania. Plus, we've got a whole bunch of Everyone Loves the Bad Guys, dealing with the history of wrestling from the 80s all the way up through modern times. The Indie-Siders are actually going to be covering a whole bunch of collective shows over the course of April, kicking things off with Effie's Big Gay Brunch and Fear the Gay Agenda from last year, the all homosexual death match. So we're going to catch up on that. We've got Joey Janela's Spring Break, and then somewhere in this mess that I've created of a schedule will be Bloodsport and For the Culture. For the Culture, Daniel Lasby, don't you understand?
I love some culture.
And then we're back here for Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, and then just 3-4 straight weeks of boxing awesomeness.
That's why you gave me the week off. That's why you gave me the take my wife out of town.
Yep, because then I got you well into the summer. We got Spence versus Ugas on the 16th. We've got Tyson Fury versus Dillian White on the 23rd, which I am super duper excited about.
Woo!
And then we've got Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson on the 30th. So, if you're enjoying these boxing live coverages that we do, we've got a whole bunch more planned going well into May here. And Patrick's just absolutely irritated with my pronunciations. He said it's Burchelt. God damn it.
That's okay. You like Shakur and you like Canelo, and you can say both of those, so you're in good shape.
Woohoo! I can say Tyson Fury. I know those words.
Tyson Fury can say it for himself. I'm pretty sure that you could camster him to just send you a quick pronunciation of his name, and he would give you a 5-minute rundown of all the people and why they're shit when he fought them.
Sean Comer says he's having fun with us and that he'll be back, which I'm happy about. I'm glad everyone's having a good time. We're here to have fun. And Jay has a philosophical question for us. He says, how did that idiot Tony Khan really pay $50 million for Ring of Honor? Probably because
he saved all that money on Coney and kicking his wife out.
Well, I was thinking more of he's like, how is it worth that much money? And it's probably for any kind of licenses that they own, or they really did buy everything, not just the wrestlers. So that's where they came up with 50. Plus, that is when you're talking about an archive, you've got an archive of Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. I mean, look at what the WWE did with when they bought WCW and they had that archive, the amount of DVDs and stuff that that they made with it. That's worth the price right there. I mean, if
streaming service alone.
Right. That's where the real value is. It's not really so much in the name or anything else. It's to have that tape library that you can just make oodles of content with. And that is the name of the game, as we know, here on this great content fortress that is the Radulich and Broadcasting Network.
Listen, you ask Chris Bailey the next time you talk to him about how many VHS copies of pay-per-views he owns. And then how much he loves me, and maybe his partner hates me, because I gave him my last remaining VCR so he didn't have to throw them away. He will pay 3 streaming subscriptions to watch all that indie wrestling.
So Robert Winfrey posits that AEW is trying to market themselves to a possible streamer for a nice cushy deal, and having the tape archive makes them that much more attractive.
And then you make that money right back. Who cares that you paid $50 million?
Yeah, I mean, look. First of all, I think the cons in AEW between the Jacksonville Jaguars and their actual business have more than enough money to piss away on a rinky-dink operation at $50 million like Ring of Honor.
It's actually just Tony's dad who's like, I hate talking to that kid. How much money do I have to give him this month to stay over there?
Sir, Tony's here. What does he want, and how much will it take to get him away from me? He says $50 million. Fine, whatevs. I personally would
write the check.
I personally, if Tony Khan's father says whatevs, that would just make my day.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be the greatest.
So Robert wants to remind us that AEW is actually losing money at the moment, but they're on an upward trend. So
sure.
All right, Robert Winfrey has just lost his pants somewhere in Utah. Pants are akimbo as Rafael dos Anjos enters the fray.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.
There's no pants to be had from crypto.com. Can't even buy pants.
There's no pants in hell, Daniel Lasby. No pants.
I mean, that could go either way.
No, you can't. You just can't hate Rafael dos Anjos. I got to see him fight live in Orlando.
He's ready to eat somebody's children.
Patrick Mullen says the gangster of glove, RDA, stepping into the cage.
I mean, I always find it interesting when you get to this point that, like, even just the way that they hug their whole team. Some of them hug their whole team like they are sweet partners who cuddle in their spare time. Some of them, like Raphael, hug their partners like, this might be the last time I ever see you, and if I do, bury me in the ocean. These guys are both Brazilian, right?
Tell you in a second. Good old Renato there. Yes, they're from Brazil. Yep, there's the flags right there, right up on the TVs for us to know the knowledge.
Thanks, UFC and ESPN.
Sean Comer from the tourism board at Utah. Utah is picturesque state to be pantsless. I mean, listen, there's never a wrong time to be pantsless in whatever state you're in.
I mean, that's why you only stream from the waist up. Come on, man.
Can I tell you how many naked podcasts I've done in my years before there was a camera? At least now I have to wear a shirt. Although,
back for Robert Pattinson.
Maybe. Although I will tell you this much. I did not realize I was going to be on camera one night, and I did not have a shirt on, and I wasn't changing it. I was like, we're doing this reaction. I'm not putting a shirt on. So instead, I grabbed a blanket that looked like a shawl. So there I am in my old lady outfit.
Oh, Bubby, good job.
Yes, Bubby, that's right. Jay Royce with they're talking in the comment section now. They're talking about like music to come out to. They're talking about Bloodsport or whatever. But this is a great one here. Someone needs to come out to Best of the Best by Hall and Stubblefield.
Yeah, man. Speaking of movies that you should review, Best of the Best, great movie.
Yeah, let me throw it on the calendar for 2024 when I'll have time. I'm a little overscheduled.
Oh, come on. Okay, let's see what Moicano can do here. Dos Años going to punch you in the face.
That's fantastic.
He is. He's ready. Look at him.
I'm going to need you to sing a little more often. All right, here we go. Our co-main event. We've got karaoke now going in the comments.
Amazing. Karaoke it up. Robert can put a sound clip on all his articles for 401 that he just starts with like a 5-second sing-in. It's going to be great.
Oh, my God. Pat, Saturday night singing Pat is the best Pat.
Woo!
All right. Moicano is all over Dos Anjos. Yikes.
Come on! This is not what I just sang about. Dos Anjos,
oh my God! Look at
down.
the speed on him, man. He was all over Dos Anjos' back before Dos Anjos knew what hit him.
I mean, the pace of this is drastically different than the other matches we've seen already tonight.
Pat says trying to tap RDA is not the best idea. Legit black belt. Better try to score in the clinch and tie-ups. And Dos Anjos currently working through Moicano's guard.
Yeah, he's going to get that Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the go here.
Moicano's able to get away, covers up, make sure that there's no follow-up with strikes. And now they're squared up again. Oh, Dos Anjos don't want no mess at this point, man. He's like, no. Not again. Not this time. Not this little black duck.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like he just wants to slam him around a bit.
Yeah. All right. Moicano ducks underneath, goes for a takedown, abandons it, lands a few strikes, backs away. Up. Dos Anjos ducks under and gets a takedown.
Yeah, Moicano's looking like he's losing that confidence in a hurry. It's almost like Dos Anjos took that first couple flurries and was like, okay, I see what this is.
All right, Dos Anjos working from half guard now. Side control, rather.
I mean, I wish I could come up with an R so that his disclosure agreement would be good. Like, Dos Anjos' takedowns, even though they're coming back up from them, are just harsh.
All right, we are almost the 2-minute mark here of round 1 of this 5-round fight.
I feel like Moicano's body language has shifted drastically.
Yeah.
Dos Anjos looks like he's just waiting for that ripe opportunity.
This is a 5-round fight, Jay, because good question. I actually don't know.
Because good question. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, no clue here.
I mean, there was talk that Moicano took this on short notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was that they just didn't want him to bury him with a little prep time.
According to the wiki, a 5-round lightweight bout between former UFC lightweight champion, Rafael Dos Anjos and Rafael Fievel Goes West was originally scheduled to headline another UFC fight night, but it was postponed due to this event due to visa issues with Faisal. However, Faisal was forced to withdraw due to testing positive for a virus of unknown origin. He was replaced by Moicano on just 4 days' notice at a catch weight of 160 pounds, which does not explain why this is at 5 rounds. That's weird, man.
I mean, I personally just can't wait till you mispronunciate somebody's name, Dom DeLuise. It's going to be amazing.
At this point, I'm not even
just manhandling him.
Yeah, he really took that back this round in a hurry.
I mean, beyond the ground skills, like he just looks so much more physically strong.
Mm-hmm.
Moicano just holding on for dear life. And I'll say, having just watched Barboza go through that many rounds of being down and just guarding, Moicano does not look like he's got his guard controlled in the same way. Like Dos Anjos has opened him up like a can of tuna. Yeah,
all right. Well, I think we can
looked up. This was a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. That got away from him in a hurry. I think we can safely give that round to Rafael Dos Anjos.
Agreed.
Oof! Look at that head kick in the replay from Dos Anjos. Yeah, duck under, boom, textbook takedown. That is a thing of beauty, my friend.
Yeah, he's got it on lock.
Okay, so story time with Pat Mullen. RDA was having trouble making 155 during his run as champion, moved up to 170, found out that the big 155 are not the same as fighting at 170, dedicated a better cut and looking much better at 155 again. Very good, Pat.
That's fair.
All right, round 2. We'll see if Rafael Dos Anjos can keep up the momentum.
I mean, unless Moicano comes out with like a flurry like he started the last one, he's in trouble.
Good sneaky left there from Moicano.
I think that's what he's got to do. I think he's got to take some quick shots and stay clean, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Get in, get out. I mean, it's clear that Dos Anjos is going to take you to the ground and work you over, so you got to remove that opportunity.
These guys are exchanging punches here, and Rafael goes for the single leg. Moicano is able to get away.
That's what he's got to keep doing. He's got to stay clean. He's got to stay out of it. Get some striking points.
I had to tell you what, man. Rafael Dos Anjos still got a pretty good hand speed.
He does, for sure. But I mean, if you're Moicano, you had some good shots right in the very beginning of that first round. You had some success with that. You had no success on the ground. And we've talked 100 times about guys who don't shift gears and change their strategy after they're not being successful. So kudos to him to say, like, hey, listen, I got worked over on the ground. That didn't work for me. Even if Dos Anjos can throw some bigger shots, I have a better chance on my feet. Until you take 15 or 20 shots. Dos Anjos, I think, has a really big striking percentage too, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, Moicano's reconsidering this match as a whole, I think.
RDA just forced him to the ground. He got back on his feet again right quick, but RDA still hanging on to his waist. Still got that back control. All right, he lets him loose, but he sends him home, lets him loose with a big punch to the head.
I let you loose, but there's a price to be paid.
Yeah, receipt, baby. All right, and Rafael and Moicano lock up. I was curious to see if Rafael would get underhooks there and take him down, but they separated. Moicano's got some good combinations, good techniques in his punches, but he's not able to land enough of them to really make a difference.
I mean, I think he's a good fighter. I think he's just not. He's not leading the pace, and he's not able to stop Dos Anjos doing what he wants to do.
Yep, and Rafael Dos Anjos takes him down.
Yeah.
All right, Rafael dos Anjos working from half guard. Yeah, Pat making a mention that Moicano is breathing very heavy. This might end in the third round the way he's going. We've got a little less than a minute and a half left.
He's been up against the cage a couple of times. He's putting a lot of effort in just trying to keep dos Anjos locked in and not going for the full mount.
Pat once again saying that Moicano is just gassed out, which is going to which all things considered is going to give dos Anjos the opportunity to advance his position and maybe end this thing with a submission.
Yep. That's super fair. He's gone for that back hold a couple of times too, so just no space for Moicano to get a breath in. Like at this point, you had had some success, but not super successful on your feet. You have had no success on the ground. If you're Moicano, what do you do?
And right now you get so Jay was saying, like, I wish they'd mix up more elbows. Well, Rafael may have heard you because he just slammed a few of them into Moicano's head.
I like that idea. I'm good for it.
God, there was a UFC fight many years ago where the first fighter just ran across the cage throwing elbows and it ended in like seconds.
Well, we've talked about this before. Like, I'm a little surprised from a striking standpoint. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a very versatile fighting style, but I'm a little surprised how little Muay Thai they bring in when it comes to knees and elbows.
Yeah, that's something that I've said as well, is that everyone wants to do the Roy Nelson, windmill straight arm punch, or they get so committed to want to do knockout punches. Like, hey, you're doing a lot of close infighting. You can use elbows here. It's okay.
Oh yeah, and like you look at some of those Taiwanese leagues and stuff like that, where the guys are fully locked up and they're still bringing up knees and they're bringing in back elbows and forward elbows and are just breaking people open. I'm surprised how little that seems to be a fighting style that gets incorporated by these fighters. Oh, and Moicano just looks gassed.
Yeah. We're curious to see if he gets a second wind here or if Rafael dos Anjos finishes it now in a hurry. With the way this is going, though, I can't see, especially with there being another 2 rounds after this, I don't see this going the distance.
Well, Moicano's not winning on points right now, and I don't know what his corner was telling him, but even from a Hail Mary standpoint, he hasn't been really successful getting in on dos Anjos, so I don't even know where he's going. Like, he looks like he's just holding on for the ride.
Pat says that this is probably going to end with dos Anjos laying in a big strike.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. I mean, like you said, he finished up that last round with some of those elbows.
Moicano's
real tentative.
I was going to say, like his button might be pushed in just because he's gassed. Pat suggesting that RDA should go for the body, and I'm inclined to agree with him.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that.
Put some hurt on him.
Big kick to the torso. Goes to shoot the single. Wasn't totally committed to it. Moicano was able to pull away. Oh, RDA lost his footing there. Moicano tried to go for a takedown too, but he was back on his feet too quickly.
Come on. I mean, dos Anjos looks fresh.
All right, Moicano's starting to land some strikes now.
Okay.
So dos Anjos has 55% significant strikes, and Moicano is 39%.
Okay. I'd say that's in line. Dos Anjos definitely looks like he's looking for that opportunity to finish it, though.
Yeah.
Looking for that opening for like a quick shot or a quick takedown. Moicano's getting some jabs in, though.
God, you look how cut up Moicano's face is.
Oh, he's brutalized.
Jay says that Moicano should utilize that uppercut more. It says that Oh, big head kick. Big head kick.
And
RDA fell. Yeah, I think we're about to see the end of this thing.
Getting
big
cocky.
Head kick from RDA and down with Moicano. RDA's all over him with the ground and pound.
I mean, it was 10 seconds ago that Moicano put his hands down and called him like he could take it all day.
I was starting to talk about that uppercut being there for him, and then boom, he got blasted in the head. Rafael, they got to stop this. He's just taking punches.
Yes.
He's not defending himself.
He's done. He's done.
How do you? I mean,
Come on. How is this going on?
Moicano, they didn't stop it, and by the time that it was an opportunity to had passed, now he's got Rafael dos Anjos, trapped chest to chest. Yeah, Pat's suggesting that Moicano's corner should stop it, but like right now, I mean, it's not winning the fight, but he's not getting actively beaten up. And I say that as now Rafael dos Anjos works in the short elbows.
Yeah, he's going nowhere. Like, you're just taking damage at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I really respect the guys who want to fight it out, who want to make a good showing for themselves, but there's a law of diminishing returns when you're just getting beat up. Well, there's still 2 more rounds, right? This is round 3. This is round 4.
Yeah, round 3 of a weirdo co-main event 5-round fight for no apparent reason. I can only assume they made it a 5-round fight because
got some good shots in there.
I think this is one of the situations where, because they don't have a really strong like title fight here, it's like we'll just do 2 5-round fights, and that'll give people it'll make it worth people's money.
And you think it'll go?
Like I don't
go the distance maybe.
Rafael dos Anjos putting a lot of pressure now on Moicano.
I mean, dos Anjos is in the driver's seat. I just cannot see the path to victory for Moicano.
I would like to see him open up more with those elbows. He's right there with it. He'll give 2 short ones and then he'll stop and just keep going until the ref stops it.
Well, he seems to be delivering in waves. It seems to me that he goes big offense and then he kind of waits for a little bit, and he goes big offense and he waits. So maybe he's just gathering up his steam.
Well, the other thing, I think he might be trying to get himself in position for maybe a crucifix, but again, an elbow finish is right there for him.
Yeah, Moicano doesn't have the wherewithal to defend himself against an aggressive elbow attack.
I think some of these jiu-jitsu guys also get very fixated on, I gotta work for the submission. I've got to work for the submission. You gotta adjust on the fly when opportunities present themselves. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, you could put this away right now. Moicano is just barely hanging on.
Yeah, look, first of all, he looks like he went through the glass.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his face. You open up a few more cuts and they'll stop this. All right. That is the end of round 3. We are into the championship rounds that are not like Virgo championship.
Meanwhile, Renato Hamburgo coming back out for round 4.
All right. If you're hanging out with us in the chat, if you're just watching, you want to join in on the fun here, I have my friends from the Radulich and Broadcasting Network just following along, giving us their fight insights. If you've been quiet, hey, be a friend, join in, make a comment.
If you make t-shirts, sing out and tell Mark how you can make his new line of properly named t-shirts with his 73,000 hours of content and one-liners.
Put it on a t-shirt, Mindy. Put it on a t-shirt. Mindy is also going to be one of our t-shirts.
Yeah, come on. Dude. That's it. I'm calling up Cody. He knows how to make a t-shirt.
He certainly does. And a terrible neck
10 for you before the end of this fight.
And a terrible neck tattoo. Oof, will you look at the left eye there on Moicano? They're calling in the doctor.
He's mangled.
Doctor, give me the news.
He's mangled.
That left eye looks like it's shutting. Yeah, he is giving the test. All right, it's not totally shut yet. Let's see what the doctor says. All right.
What do you get out of this round 4 if you're Moicano? What are you getting out of this?
I mean, I think for him, there's pride on the line. He doesn't want doesn't want to have an opportunity to wrest victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah.
But then again, he's got to change up the routine here. He can't just depend on, a lucky punch or whatever, or for Dos Anjos to be gassed. He's got to put the work in.
I mean, I just don't see where he goes with it. I don't see that he's dominate. I don't see that he can take him to the ground and dominate. I don't see that he can outstrike him at this point. Although I will say in round 3, he had some good shots. He did stagger Dos Anjos on that one, although whether he staggered him or whether Dos Anjos tripped is an argument to have.
The other thing that you have to consider is that he has no answer right now for Dos Anjos takedown, and he needs to get one quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah. And his corner didn't give him any advice on what the next step was. His corner was like, hey, can you stand up and see?
Moicano's opening up on him. He's just laid in some pretty hefty strikes.
Okay. All
right. Boom.
Big,
down goes Moicano.
Or go down.
Down goes Moicano. So Pat Mullen mentioning that the actual commentary are fawning over some of the strikes here, but they're arm punches. Not effective.
Listen, Joe Rogan knows a punch when he sees one, man.
Terrific.
He spoke with someone in Russian earlier tonight.
He can see Russia from his house.
Oh, God.
All right, so Rafael Dos Anjos is just not giving Moicano any room to breathe here.
No, he
is all up in his grill. He is working from the half guard position. He is right on top of him. He's putting on the pressure.
Lean that shoulder in. Just smothered. I mean, short of an eye rake or a low blow, Moicano's not getting out of this.
No, and to your point before, and Pat's point also, they might want to consider just throwing in the towel in Moicano's corner, because at this point he's just taking punishment for no good reason. But you never know. We've seen fighters lose 24 minutes out of 25, and in that last minute they throw some sort of like spinning heel kick or something, and they end up winning the fight. So
I mean, the excitement
never can
is
tell.
You can turn it around.
I mean, it's not like they have anywhere else to be. If you got 25 minutes to work, you got to use them.
Well, I mean, we saw Holland Oliveira earlier tonight. Holland looked like a bum in round 1, and then he put it to bed like 30 seconds into round 2.
That's what I'm saying. Your luck could change on you in a hurry. Sean Comer suggesting, Chris Lieben, Akiyama being people who start off slow and end up pulling out the victory in the end in the nick of time.
And if I thought Moicano was wearing him down, if I thought that the strategy was let Dos Anjos bring everything he's got until he's absolutely out of gas and then take the opportunity to put it away.
All right. I don't know if this is the right terminology for it, but it looks like Rafael Dos Anjos might be going for a guillotine.
Yeah, put it away. Just choke him out, man.
Pat Mullen bringing up an excellent point. You do have to remember that Moicano did this on 4 days' notice.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was saying earlier, I recall hearing that it was a really short turnaround to make a fight happen here. In 4 days, you can't analyze enough or prepare yourself for a fighter of Dos Anjos' caliber.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he's held on at this point for 4 rounds with 4 days' notice is admirable, for sure.
Rafael Dos Anjos has controlled most of this fight from the ground.
Yeah.
An average of over 3 minutes.
Oh, my God.
For each round so far. Which,
no wonder
Moicano is gassed.
Sure, he's just holding on. Dos Anjos goes up and he hits him with some elbows, and then he leans down and he gets him with a shoulder and he's got him pinned. Moicano's arms are up, down, in and out, and just pressing to keep from being decimated here. And that's before the 2 or 3 different cuts. Like, he's taking a lot of elbows in this last minute and a half.
With 10 seconds to go in round 4, Moicano is back on his feet. But he is a bloody mess.
Yeah, he took a lot of elbows on his side down by the cage.
Patrick Mullen says, "Stop it between rounds. Let's not even go to round 5."
I agree.
Moicano is messed up.
I mean, he's technically defending himself, but he's really not.
He's got cuts all over him. I mean, look at that. Like, there's a couple of cuts where he is just bleeding profusely. Yeah, Jay saying they should cut it. They're talking to the doctor. I can't imagine this is going to go on much longer. No, I think we're done here.
He had a face full of hamburger, and even coming out of that round, like, he rolled into the cage. Is he on his feet? 100%. Is he been valiant in the face of defeat? 100%. But he's getting torn up.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, his eye is cut, his forehead is cut, his nose is bleeding.
All right. I think they're going to have him inspected by the doctor here. We'll see what happens. He's checking out that eye. That seems to be where the concern is.
The ref looks like he's saying the corner's not going to stop it. Somebody's got to do it.
All right. The doctor's talking to the referee. I keep waiting for him to like step back and do the arm wave.
Yeah, just give it an X, man.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what there is to deliver.
Corner's saying he's ready. This corner is on drugs.
Yeah, this might not be tremendously responsible. Yep. Despite the fact that Pat and Jay both think this should be stopped and that this is pretty gross. Here we go, round 5.
Come on. He's got more Vaseline and blood on his face than he does skin at this point.
The doctor actually said it was reasonable to stop it, according to Jay in our chat. I mean, I would have. I wouldn't have let him continue.
No. I mean, the hope is RDA puts this away fast now. Come on.
This might be the longest fight of the whole card because I don't think Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal is going to go all 5 rounds. But now that I've said that,
you did say that out loud. I'm still a little surprised by the lack of stoppage. They stopped fights earlier in the night that were less messed up than this.
Yeah, for sure.
And even like a couple of seconds ago, Moicano went for that spinning back fist. There's nothing behind it. It actually almost looks like Dos Anjos is feels bad for him.
All right. Rafael Dos Anjos gets a big takedown. He's got 3 minutes and 30 seconds to put the work in.
Okay.
To go for a finish.
He's just working him over. Yeah.
We'll see what he does here. Rafael Dos Anjos looking to pass. Moicano fought him off, and they're back on their feet. Moicano fighting back.
I mean, pride is a wicked.
I like what I'm seeing from Moicano now, and he knows that he's lost this fight big time every single round, and that the only way he's going to get a win is with a stoppage. So he's throwing.
Yep.
He's throwing with authority, at least as much
as he can
muster in his current condition.
If you're going to be here, that's the right thing to do.
Yep. Moicano was able to stuff a takedown there.
It's been wily.
Yeah, despite the fact that we talked about him being, gassed and it being 4 days notice and all of that, he's done a fair amount, to keep up with RDA.
Sure, he looks like Popeye after a bar fight, but come on.
Yeah, he got messed up, He took over the course of 4 rounds a lot of successive elbows.
I mean, I'll tell you what this tells me about Moicano, and I wouldn't necessarily have known this earlier, but I will say I would be interested in seeing what he can bring to a match with a proper lead up, with a proper prep time. If he can go the distance in a match like this, which is a mugging with 4 days, it does speak volumes about your standby conditioning and the type of fighter that you are.
Agreed. Oof. Big swing there from McKenna. Yeah, somebody they're showing on the graphic on the screen. Says what a battle from Damon John or whatever it was on Twitter. And that's the thing. Like this is definitely a fight of the night contender here, as it's just been, two guys hanging in there, not wanting to give an inch. But Dos Anjos has pretty cleanly won every single round so far.
Oh yeah. He's controlled and dominated every round. Mike Connor's had some moments. He said the moments really looked really good. And again, kudos to his ability to hang around. But you can't say at any point that he was in control of a round.
He's had some pretty good landed strikes on Dos Anjos. I mean, he's tried to stay in as much of the fight as he can. We have less than a minute here. Pat wants to know if Holland versus Oliveira is still fight of the night. I don't know. I think this one might be fight of the night.
I think so too. I think Holland did clean up early in round 2, but he looked like a bomb in round 1. I don't think at any point, even though he's going to lose this match and he's going to lose it resoundingly, at no point did Moicano look like he had no business being there.
No, and he's fought through adversity, and it's not like Dos Anjos was scoring any number of submissions on him. He roughly stayed in the same spot.
Kept his guard up. He got back up a bunch of times.
If he just nails good old Buck here. Get away from my beehives.
The last 30-second haymakers are my favorite.
I am going to leave you in charge here for just a moment. Well, I take a momentary break, and then you can tell the good people what the scores are, though I suspect it's going to be like 50-45 or 50-44.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a 10-point spread.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, man. And as we go and wait for the scores, I also want to hear from you in comments what you think about the mouth from the south Colby Covington has in this final round. You're just looking at him like kind of like gladiator for sure. Walks to his corner for sure. I mean, cut man, he wants no part of it, but he's gonna go home and put his face in an entire freezer. Just tough to watch. But again, kudos for him hanging in there. Kudos for him short notice going around, keep a good fight on the card. And sorry, Robert, I think this was a better match than the Holland match. I didn't think at any point that either one of these guys looked like they weren't ready or they weren't giving their all. I think it was a grind for sure. And RDA definitely put the boots to him. But it's tough to watch those last rounds when your corner won't call it and you don't call it because you got the pride to hang in there and really make a name for yourself. And just take excessive damage. Oh, we're having a little bit of lag on my feed, waiting for the scores to come up. Good sportsmanship as they come out of it. I mean, I think RDA knows that he was in a good fight, though. A couple of those last shots got him roughed up a good bit. And as we wait, well, you might not wait. I'm still having a bit of a lag here on my feed. Just waiting for those scores to come up. Thinking up nice ways to help Mark with his enunciation and pronunciation as we go forward. Pat, maybe you can send him a pronunciation cheat sheet with the linguistics breakdown before these fights as we go forward. In future matches, long E's, short E's, inside, upside, outside. Taking a little longer on the scores than I had expected. But Rafael Dos Anjos gets the win. Decision unanimous. I think that was pretty straightforward call. No real surprises there. Dos Anjos clearly steering the ship. I mean, I think back about the 49s. You got 2 49s on that. I don't know that any one of them wasn't a 50-point round for Dos Anjos, but that's okay. Moicano, big heart. Not a full blowout from the scorecards. 6-point difference really on the average. Good fight all in all by both fighters. Moicano definitely needed that extra time to prep. Maybe would have hung in a little bit better. RDA showing that he is all around in his ability to both strike, take to the ground, and control that. Maybe the 49 points is that RDA kind of let off the gas a little bit in that last round. I mean, understandable when you look at Moicano and how much he got beat up and how bad shape he was. And you know that the doctors are looking at him. But that's 2 rounds in a row where he had to take a look at him to see if he was good to go for the final fight. So maybe he loses a little bit of points as he takes his foot off the gas in that final round. But again, you know my feelings on that. I would argue that that's the right thing from a sportsmanship level. You know you've got in the bag. Don't take your foot off the gas so much that you're going to lose on a big pop, but I'd sacrifice that 50-point to the 49-point for the sake of not putting in a man in an ability where he can never come back. As we get ready for that last round, remember in those comments, if you have any thoughts on what you think, if you think that Covington is going to make a good showing for himself, back up that sauce, full barbecue styles, or if you think, and as I less than secretly hope, Masvidal is going to come in and put him a little bit in his place, feed him a little bit of humble pie, maybe take a New York bagel and hand it out on a platter, I wouldn't be sad about that. Can't wait to see what the entrance music looks. And maybe there'll be some excessive hip work trying to keep up with earlier in the night as they make their entrances through. I'm also always interested by the advertising that gets put into UFC matches. T-Mobile, I don't know if that's as family friendly as you want it to be, but that's okay. Crypto.com, you know where you're at. Can't wait for that Jared Leto, Mark Radulich match of the night. And as always, a little bit of shot here, there, and anywhere for the audience, for those stars that you can find out. The Supernatural team in the building. I can't wait for Mark to completely give up his allotted freedom and any vestige of sleep for him to break into just reviewing full seasons and runs of TV shows. Pat, you'll be able to give him the gears on Jennifer Aniston's incredible performances in Friends, or lack thereof. Just waiting now for the come around, and as I hear, with a shirt short of a cape, the return of Mark Radulich.
Yeah, if I can hit the right button and not take myself out of a.
You didn't leave the studio altogether this time. That's true.
That's the second time I've done that. All right, so I'm sure you've already read off the scores. It was probably about what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I was. I said there I was a little confused. He got 2 49s and only the 150 for RDA, which I can only guess it's because it seemed like he took his foot a little bit off the gas in that last round. But also, when you see the doctors go to the corner on back-to-back, end of round 3 and end of round 4, I mean, can you blame him? I don't know.
Yeah, 50-44, which I'm not at all surprised about. 49-44. Okay.
Like, where did that other point go?
Yeah, like what? How did he lose a point? I don't understand.
Last one was also 49-44, I think.
Yeah, it was 49-45, 49-44, and 50-44. So
that's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
All right. No surprise, unanimous decision.
So Robert had it actually 50-43, and it looks like they gave Moicano the 5th round there. So, all right, wait, we got another hype package here for these former friends, now bitter rivals, Jorge Masvidal, the game bred, if you will, versus the chaos, Colby Covington, who believes in the 3 R's, or whatever it was. I can't remember anymore.
Rednecks, red salsa.
The 3 I's. No, it's with integrity, intelligence, and intermittent explosive intermittent disorder. Yeah. Intelligence, intensity, and integrity. Thank you, Robert. Robert has the mind of an elephant.
There you go, Robert.
And
Pat, maybe Covington could be a stand-in for one of the Wahlberg movies. It'll be great.
He has the memory of an elephant and the social grace of a hippo.
Same. Man, it's gonna take you apart in print one of these days.
All right. Make America great again. What a troll. All right, so let's recap here. What do you think about this fight, Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal?
Well, I was saying a little in the break and seeing if anybody had any different thoughts. I think Covington can win it. I mean, I think he's got the technical to know how to back it up. I love a mouthpiece to get punched in the mouthpiece. I think Masvidal is talented enough to make it happen. I don't know that he's going to bring his A game, but I wouldn't mind Covington getting punched in the MAGA hat, just for a time.
Pat wants to remind us all that it's not just Colby Covington who's a big Trump supporter, but also Jorge Masvidal.
It's too bad. Well, that throws my entire enjoyment plan at the
We are all entitled to our opinions, sir.
That's true. That's true.
Let's see. I favor Colby, but Jorge can win, and it won't shock me. But this is a bad stylistic matchup for Jorge. That was what I was saying at the top of the pay-per-view. I said, I don't know how well it's going to go for Jorge Masvidal if Colby Covington just takes him to the ground for 25 minutes and ties him up. Like, I don't.
You gotta both know each other inside and out, right?
Mm-hmm. I will be curious to see if this end. They showed the clip there of when Jorge Masvidal knocked out Funky Ben Askren with the flying knee in the first seconds of their fight. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see if he will do that here. If he'll just run over Covington before Covington has an opportunity to, figure out what to do with Masvidal.
Just come in like a windmill of death.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about Covington being that much better than you on the ground, that's the right strategy. Shock and awe.
Robert says he might try, but it might not work. I mean, of course, there's no guarantees here, but I think, like I said, if Jorge Masvidal rushes Colby Covington, I think he has a better than average chance of finishing it in the first round. However, if Colby Covington, if he's tentative in there and Colby Covington is able to utilize his wrestling, I don't think Masvidal stands much of a chance of getting out of here in less than 25 decision.
Right.
So Patrick Mullen, somewhat agreeing with me here, says Jorge has 90. I'm just going to put this up on the board. Jorge has 90 seconds to win the fight. He cannot maintain the pace that Colby pushes. Every sparring video we've seen has shown Colby ragdolling him. Also, Colby has taken bombs from Usman. Usman is not the diversified or creative striker that Masvidal is, but he absolutely hits harder and couldn't take Colby out of their rematch. And Jorge went to sleep with one right hand. That's all very valid, Pat.
Okay.
So right now, I think the odds are leaning in Colby Covington's favor. What's officials from DraftKings?
Under of 320 for Covington, over 250 for Masvidal.
All right, so it seems like everybody is leaning in. Everybody wants to make America great again.
America's great. Give yourself some credit.
Yeah, we're all right. We're like a 7 in a dimly lit bar.
All right.
After we're like a 6 or a 7 if you've been on Tinder for a while.
Listen, man, beer goggles do miracles. You just hold it together over there.
There are a lot of marriages that the base of the marriage was beer goggles.
Yes, that's fair. Although I live in Newfoundland, where the base of the marriage is, it's so goddamn cold outside. Want to go in?
I'm not really interested in sleeping with you, but I sure am cold.
It's cold and wet, and I had fish for dinner. Let's get out of it.
I have not paid my electric bill, and my apartment is cold. Let's go to your place. Can I just throw out there that dating sucks? Just want to make that clear.
Dating sucks.
Dating does suck. And it's got infinitely weirder, apparently, in recent history.
I just don't know. Like, I've told my wife drunkenly before, and she lets me get away with it because I was drunk. But if she were to leave me tomorrow, my turnaround time for returning to the military and having someone feed me, clothe me, and me not need to worry about anyone else would be very short.
So we have a debate going on now because Robert agrees with us and says we got out of we pulled the ripcord and jumped out of the single plane at the right time.
Oh yeah.
But Pat's out there having fun. So it's just, listen, I happen to know from various experiences and details that dating is, if it doesn't suck, it's absolutely weird.
Well, I'll tell you, I definitely benefited from the period of going to theater school where it was a captive pond based on the fact that the majority of other male competitors were not competing.
Gotcha. A lot of guys sitting on the bench and other things. Arr.
I mean, they weren't sitting on the bench. They just weren't competing with me, and I was super okay with that.
It was a different sport.
Yep.
All
100%.
right. And here he comes. I'm going to put the volume up for this.
He doesn't care about it. They were the best of friends. They are now the worst of enemies. And they have one pickup truck larger than the other.
I think Colby Covington should come out one day in a milk truck.
Milk truck would be incredible. Riding on a horse, also exceptional. I actually wish that he would come in the Tesla truck. That would be absolute banger.
It is genius to come out to Kurt Angle's music. I mean, look, there are some guys, we talked about this with like Tyson Fury and some others. There are just some guys that get it. They really do. They know this is show business.
Yeah.
You're
getting paid to fight, but you're getting paid for the lead up as well.
Look, you got to put asses in seats. And on any given weekend, there's so many fights going on at every level of the sport and various sports of fighting. You gotta do what you need to do to get yourself seen, known. I mean, yeah, man. They're competing with bare knuckle boxing and pillow fighting, for Christ's sake. What are you gonna do to make yourself known to the people? Daniel?
Conor McGregor would argue with a desk lamp, and people would pay to see it.
That they would see him fight a desk lamp,
and maybe win. We're not.
Oh
sure.
My God, the boxers, the boxing fans' boxing match was Mayweather Pacquiao, but boy, did that fight drive people crazy. But I'll tell you what, even Mayweather knew what he was getting into with Conor McGregor, and it showed every round of that fight.
100%.
That was fun to watch, but not as a boxing fan, as more of a fan of Schadenfreude. So,
yeah.
All right, Colby Covington, former interim UFC welterweight champion, second most takedowns in UFC welterweight history, fifth most wins in UFC welterweight history.
Ranked number 1 right now.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to give him another shot at Usman if he's had 2 already.
I can't imagine.
All right, here we go. As Colby Covington gets into the ring. Yeah. Just full of pith and vinegar.
Rolling in.
Sipping on gin.
American.
Leave
Manscaped before he showed up.
We're singing 2 different songs.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Are you singing the real American Hulk Hogan version?
The UFC, your leading brand in sports and entertainment.
Hey, yo!
For over 20 years, the leader in sports entertainment, the Ultimate Fighting Championships.
Somewhere Dana White just had a stroke.
Somewhere Dana White is seeing what he can hatch out of an egg on Thanksgiving.
That's also fair.
Hey, Vince McMahon has left a legacy of nonsense in his wake.
He's still making money at it.
He's, did you hear he's going to induct the Undertaker into the Hall of Fame? I honestly hope I honestly hope that like it's a hologram and somebody else is doing it, because if he actually has to like do the induction and the speech, it's going to be a rambling mess.
I don't know how he'll not be a character and also not cry and also not inject himself with pure testosterone 3 times during it.
Pat Mullen with the hot take of the evening on our UFC coverage.
Undertaker sucks. Sin.
He's not a huge fan. Clucky has entered the building. Have I told you about the legacy of Clucky?
No, but I'm sure it's sexually and twisted.
It's not.
Oh.
Look, most of my gags are sexual. Most of my gags are sexual, but that's not what we're here to discuss right now. Hi-yo.
That's your third softball of the night, and that is going for the fence.
Anyway, Clucky. We used to talk about that, judging in boxing and MMA was so bad that it was done by a giant chicken, which we totally ripped off of Animaniacs, Chicken Boo.
Yeah.
So whenever we would talk about bad judging in combat sports, we would always say, oh my God, that was Clucky, or Clucky is judging, something along those lines. And so Pat just mentioned that Sal D'Amato is judging. So Clucky is in the house.
All right. I look forward to a 31-77 score.
Sean Comer is home and he's ready to mingle here. He's back in the party. Also mentioning another Clucky judge, Cecil Peoples, which I used to early on in my UFC watching, and I would see on Twitter the UFC, the Cecil Peoples action figure, which was blind with a cane and there was mice. And we broke Dan.
Yeah. I mean, can we just talk about Masvidal's physique for a minute? I feel like he has looked way fitter in the past. I mean, don't get me wrong. He doesn't look anything like I do, and I look like a cushion on the sofa. But
I'm going to put this on the board because Pat in with the hot the news, the tabloids. That's what I was trying to say. Pat in with the hot tabloid here. Jorge alleges Colby owes poker loan sharks in South Florida. Colby alleges that Jorge is an absentee dad and leached off of his ex-wife. Yikes.
Yeah, okay. Got hot. We got hot over here.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. All right. The main event. UFC 272. Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal. We are ready to rumble.
Okay. Go big or go home, Masvidal. Come on.
Listen, people, I've got sexy texts flying back and forth between my wife and other people. I got to get in on this action. Let's go.
Come on, put this to bed.
End in round one. Yeah, look at that. Cole. He remembers. Funky Ben Askren. Jorge Masvidal does.
Junior Wahlberg coming in hot.
All right, they've slowed the pace down a little bit. They're taking each other's measure. 30 seconds into the first round here. Colby Covington just wading into the waters, not hitting anything.
Yeah, tons of sparring coming in.
All right. A little feint there from Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal's like, hey, I got poked in the eye. He's like, while he's fighting, he's like arguing with the ref. He's like, hey, pay attention. Wake up.
Come on, man.
All right, Colby Covington trying to get that, just fight for that takedown.
I'm a little surprised that Covington isn't owning the center of the ring as much as Masvidal right now.
Right now, he has him just held up against the fence, and he is looking for a throw. Up, down he goes. Down he goes again. Colby Covington. Boy, I'm sensing a pattern with this pay-per-view tonight.
Yeah.
Colby Covington just going all Oz on Jorge Masvidal's back. And once again, all right, he's throwing some knees into his thigh. Masvidal doesn't quite seem to know what to do with him. Boom, drags him down. Lost. Yeah.
Still trying to figure out what.
Still just trying to figure out what his strategy should be. Meanwhile, Covington's scoring and he's winning the round. We're almost at the halfway mark here. Boom, drags him down again. And now Covington's going to put the work in, try to get hooks.
Yeah.
Maybe go for a rear naked choke. Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, it's a good way to go.
Look at him. I told you this was going to happen.
You did.
I said
90 seconds lasted about 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Jay Royce wants to see a German suplex. Yeah, Colby. Take him to Suplex City.
I'll take it. 3 amigos for the win.
Oh, my God. Colby Covington with this frog splash. That's not legal.
Speaking of moves that Conor McGregor would definitely have tried.
Yeah, Colby Covington still trying to work that rear naked choke. I'll tell you, Masvidal
doesn't look like he knows what to do.
He looks like he's sucking wind is what it looks like. My God, Covington's like a spider monkey in there. Yep. Just all over Jorge Masvidal.
If Masvidal doesn't get out of this shortly, he's going to run out of gas before he even gets to the second round. Like, I know we were talking about how he just mugs him in these grapple situations when they had sparred in the past, but like, I'm a little surprised that Masvidal doesn't have any sort of answer for this.
So Patrick Mullen with the point that it's not that Jorge Masvidal is taking a tremendous amount of damage, but he's losing the round. He can't reverse. He can't progress. Colby Covington is putting on pressure.
Yeah.
And while again, he's not at risk of necessarily being why he looks like he was punching him in the back of the head there. And I think it's Herb Abrams is the referee. Just kind of watching him do it. But anyway, Jorge Masvidal, while not necessarily in deep trouble, is not able to. He's at Colby Covington's mercy.
Yeah, he's not doing anything that says, okay, if I just got my knees under me, or if I could just twist another quarter. Like Covington, like Colby has him locked down.
I think Masvidal
nowhere. He's going nowhere.
I think Masvidal now knows that like he needs to strike with Covington. He needs to go for a knockout. Oh, sorry, Pat with the correction. I should have said Herb Dean, not Herb Abrams. Two different guys. Yeah, One loves the cocaine. Hey, before we lose the entire evening, I do want to remind people that I used to love the old UFC theme, Face the Pain. It's Robert Winfrey's favorite song, actually. Robert Winfrey loves Face the Pain. He used to get him hyped up for these UFC. He's going to hate me for saying that. He used to just hype him up for these. I mean, Robert's a hard man to please and an even harder man to impress. But I'll tell you, you play Face the Pain and the pants would come off and fly across Utah. And do you know where you can hear Face the Pain, Daniel Lasby?
Is it on Amazon Music Prime?
It is on Amazon Music Unlimited. Yes, sir, Bob. We are giving away a free 30-day trial of the Amazon Music Unlimited service. Just head on over to I'll get to you in a minute, Jay.
Yeah.
Get AmazonMusic.com/W2M Network for your free 30-day trial. Fill out the information. Agree to the 30 days. You can stream all the bro music you want. You could hear Temper. You could hear, Upon a Burning Body. You could hear Face the Pain. You could hear the new Volbeat, the new Allegiant. You could hear House of Pain and jump around your house. It'll be fine. Get AmazonMusic.com/W2M Network. All right, we are back in the fight here. Now I've finally done both my plugs.
Well played. And you got him in.
Yes, I got him in before he forgot. Hey, Jay just wants us to know that we don't know how Herb Dean feels about cocaine. This is true. It's well documented that we know how Herb Abram feels.
He does a lot of it.
Right. And cocaine's a hell of a drug. Anyway.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yes, sir. All right. And we are about 30 seconds into round 2. Colby Covington taking an awful chance trying to kick Jorge Masvidal in the face.
Yeah, that spill was less than sensible, but that's okay. Masvidal's got
Masvidal's got a mean kick on him.
Yeah. Take the trees out of you.
All right.
I mean, kudos to him. He's trying to maintain his match, his fight.
I just want to say thank you to everybody watching on Twitch tonight. That seems to be where we got most of our audience from, and a handful on Facebook. Hey, we appreciate you. We hope you'll continue to come back for our boxing, wrestling, and UFC coverage. And now back to the fight. Colby Covington rushing in, and hey, speaking of elbows, Jorge Masvidal just lighting up the side of his head with elbows.
Proper thing. Proper thing with the strikes. Keep the strikes up.
Covington looking to advance his position here, try to get enough leverage for a takedown against the fence. Comes up big with an elbow, a glancing elbow, it looked like.
Showing the stats maybe 30 seconds ago, Covington's thrown way more strikes, but part of that is from where he had him in that back hold in the first round.
It looks like we have a nut shot.
Eye thumb, nut shot, punch to the back of the head. Such a clean match so far.
Yeah, Pat, mine just died too. I had to go out and back in again. We are having technical difficulties. Oh boy. So how about you? Is yours still up?
I'm black. No, I was good. Yeah. You were saying you were out, and I was like, oh, I'm still okay, but no, I'm out.
No, okay. Yep, I got the thank you for your patience. We'll get this fixed ASAP. All right.
maybe Masvidal's getting his balls checked while the camera's
there. Let's see what's going on in my sexy chat. Anything of interest? Nope, everyone's asleep. I missed sexy time in the chat. How about that?
I mean, sorry.
Hey, you know what, Dan? From me to you, I would rather be here with you watching the UFC than involved in sexy chat.
I appreciate that.
Choice. Yes, sir.
I mean, Pat's still single. I'm sure if you want him to talk dirty to you, he will definitely oblige.
I'll talk to him privately. That's not for public consumption. That's me and Pat time. Yes, sir.
Just make sure you use Grammarly while you're doing it, so that you get all the
put on some mood music with Amazon.
No rambling loud.
All right, so yeah, we missed a couple of minutes there. Pat's not happy.
Super
and
fair.
Up, down goes Covington. Let's get back into the fight here with a minute and 30 seconds to go. Down goes Covington, though he's taking advantage of his place on the mat, and he's looking to advance his position. He takes the back of Jorge Masvidal. He's looking to get in that rear naked choke. We'll see what Jorge Masvidal does. Sean Comer says, never sell sexy chat short. Hey, look, I'm just saying, if it's a binary choice between hanging out with my friends, watching combat sports, the sexy chats can wait. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm involved in many of them. I'm just
not saying never. I'm just saying
there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place. The sexy chats can wait. They'll still listen. You can't just replicate the fun times we're having here. The sexy chats can wait. That's going to be on the next.
Sign of a good relationship that you can let the sexy chat wait.
Sean says we should multitask. Listen, you do you, boo. I'm going to focus on Mr. Colby Covington here, trying to get a takedown on Jorge Masvidal against the fence, and it's not going well. Why should it go well is what Captain America once said in a video game that we did a commentary for.
Well done.
Yeah. Oh, we used to do all kinds of fun things on the Radulich Broadcasting Network.
I mean, I think you still do a lot of fun things.
We do. We just do different fun things. Oh, Colby Covington. I'm just gonna leave this one on screen. I'm not reading it, but y'all have fun with it. All right. So as I was being distracted, Colby laid in a few. Jorge Masvidal returned fire to end the round. It's a little hard to call that one because we missed a portion of the round there, but I don't know. What do you think, Dan, for what we saw?
Masvidal had some good striking out of the gate, but then it finished up pretty pro Covington.
So I'm gonna go ahead and trust Pat because Pat saw Usyk coming when no one else did, and Nurmagomedov. I actually now that he mentions it, I remember that 401 Mania ground and pound show where he talked about Nurmagomedov being on the come up. So he's got a 2018. Pat says it's 2018. That I say it's 2018 because who am I to tell Pat Mullen he's wrong?
2018 Covington, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So Jay had mentioned before that Masvidal was looking like he had a bit of a, I think it was either Jay or Pat mentioned that Masvidal looked like he had a bit of a belly going. And I was watching the replay there, and yeah, he had a little bit of jiggly jello.
Especially he's been pretty trim before, so I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, he's always in pretty good shape. All right, round 3. Here we go. Masvidal with side kick. Covington goes up high, pushes Masvidal back towards the fence. Masvidal looks a circle away. Can't get away fast enough. Colby grabs a hold of him.
This is not Masvidal's fight. He needs to be back on his feet. He needs to be back to striking.
Circling and retreating right now.
Yeah, this is not the fight he wants to be having right now.
So what you see Colby Covington doing is he's throwing light touch punches so that Masvidal will leave him open for the takedown, which is what he really wants. That's the bread and butter right there. That's the money shot.
And he's owned that space. Masvidal's had no answers to that.
Well, this is a lot like the Dos Anjos fight where you might not progress far enough to where you can submit him, but if you spend most of the fight on top of the guy, you win the fight.
You win.
Boom, Bob's your
uncle by default.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, even if Masvidal loses, he's going to chirp about the low blow and the eye poke. So
he can cry and whine all he wants. Him and Nick Diaz gonna have a good old sissy slap fight, crying in each other's soup. And put it on YouTube, put it on TikTok. Just Jorge Masvidal and Nick Diaz crying for 3 minutes. I'm sure it'll do fine.
I'm a little surprised. Masvidal, when they first went down, he had the opportunity to put the guillotine on him or whatever that is in the UFC, but he released, and then Covington just went right at him.
All right, so see, we talked about elbows before. Colby Covington just slashing elbows.
Yep.
Yeah, they might. We talked about this with the Dos Anjos fight. They should have stopped that one earlier than not. And with Colby Covington sort of slashing at Jorge Masvidal with those elbows,
I mean,
he could entice a stoppage.
Masvidal not protecting himself is the same way that Moicano did. I feel like Covington controlling this extensively and really dropping those elbows.
Jay Royce with the hot fire. I've seen Kendra Lust put up a better fight off her back than Masvidal. Hi-yo!
Codex definitely supporting that lack of multitasking.
Hey, the chat room in my live streams are always the best and the funniest and the most swift. I appreciate all of you.
There you go.
All righty. Colby Covington, just as it's been said in the chat here, just breaking guys down, wearing the resistance out of them, pushing the pace, just not giving you a moment to breathe or figure out what you want to do next.
And at this point,
you're just surviving.
At this point, even if Masvidal got back to his feet or starts the next round, he's got no gas left. You can't throw a haymaker if you got nothing to put behind it.
All right, so Covington's going to go for the back again. Yeah, easily takes it. He's got to get the hooks in. I think if he, and he's starting to do it, but I think if Colby Covington really wants to make some hay out of a submission, he's got to get both of those hooks in. He has to absolutely render Jorge Masvidal immobile. He just gave a thumbs up to the ref that he was okay, and it's true. He's got, Colby Covington's arm is over his mouth. It wasn't really underneath his chin where it should be, but he doesn't have the best positioning either. He's got to get that other hook in.
Got to get around. I mean, he's owning Masvidal right now, but he needs to finish it up.
He was just cranking his neck there. Colby making good use of the crossface, as Pat indicates in the chat. I agree. Again, a lot of guys get very much caught off in trying to get a knockout because it's flashy and it's stylish and it makes you extra money. But there is some technique in wrestling that if you are able to employ it, you will wear a guy out and win the fight.
I mean, I'm a little surprised with some of the releases that to get a better grip that Covington's done when he's had him wrenched.
All right, so Covington just lets Jorge Masvidal finally get back to his feet, but Jorge Masvidal looks a little worse for wear. He's breathing a bit heavy. We'll see how the rest of this round goes. It doesn't go much. It was right at the end of the round. So as I was doing all that, we were down to like 10 seconds.
Well, and you had called that earlier in the day, the wrestling prowess of Covington versus Masvidal, and that was really evident in the back 2 minutes of that round.
All right. So barring any unforeseen calamity, Colby Covington has won this fight. He has won 3 rounds to none. We'll have to see what happens with the next 2 rounds.
And again, like some good strikes at some points by Masvidal, some opportunities to lay in some good shots, but not enough to win the round on points and not enough to put Covington away. And I would argue he's not going to get enough gas back in the tank at this point, based on the amount of time he spent just defending on the ground.
Patrick Mullen saying if he wants to regain an advantage here in the championship rounds of this fight, he has to be aggressive. Be aggressive.
You got to come in hot.
Yeah, he absolutely has to come in hot, which he didn't do.
He did not.
No. All right, they're exchanging strikes in the center of the cage. I think this is a mistake for Masvidal.
No, this is bad.
I think he's giving Colby Covington every opportunity to find a way in and shoot his shot and take Jorge Masvidal back down again.
Too much space, and he's not doing anything on the ground. Like, he can't let Covington get him there. This is not coming in hot, man. And it doesn't seem like even the ones that he has thrown this round, he doesn't seem to have the same mustard on him.
All right. Colby Covington has Jorge Masvidal against the fence. We'll see what he does with it.
Doesn't feel good. Feels like a matter of time. Get back up.
You'll notice Colby Covington doesn't put a tremendous amount of mustard on his punches.
No,
they're there as a distraction. They're there to get the fighter.
Make you flinch, grab a leg, get a takedown.
Right. He's looking for him to bite on something so that he has an easy shot in for a takedown.
You can see that Covington does.
Covington just nailed him a couple of times, though, despite all that.
Yeah. He does definitely have that wrestling prowess. Like, man, he's the spider monkey that you had called out earlier was a great call out.
We'll see what he does here with the leg trap the way that he has. He'll go get that high crotch takedown. Actually, he tried for a single leg there, but Jorge Masvidal hopped to the other side of the fence.
Smart. Masvidal can't afford to go down another time, let alone 2 more times.
Yeah.
I mean, Masvidal does seem to have still some wherewithal.
Yep. Big peg kick there from Colby Covington. But, to Masvidal's credit, the guy's built like shoe leather.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Colby Covington laying in punches.
No. That's good. Masvidal, come on, man. You gotta get out of that.
$86 of 155, 55% for Covington, 55 of 110, 50% for Masvidal.
Not terrible, but Masvidal got to get that striking. He's got to be leading on the striking. That's what he's had.
Oh! Jorge Masvidal lands a right hook.
Get in it!
And made Colby Covington go weak in the knees momentarily. And now Masvidal's on the attack, but Masvidal's not moving with enough energy. Not dynamic at all. No, if he had pressed Colby Covington, we might have seen the end of this. And he just let him walk through it.
That was your shot, man.
Yeah, he might have let that one get away from him. Yeah, Pat says no urgency. No shit.
Which is crazy. That was your chance to totally turn this around.
It really was. Like, did you see that? Like, he went like cartoon weak in the knees. He got all
he took a knee and he got back up, but like he was wide open.
But he got back up because Jorge Masvidal let him.
Yeah,
he just watched him do it.
He was wide open. He walked into that, it was over. I'm shocked by that. I mean, I think that Covington looks a little shaky coming to the end of that round, but I cannot believe Masvidal didn't finish him off there.
So I'm going to throw this on the board here. Pat saying, I do think he's discouraged from how much he's been hit, but again, he's been throwing one shot at a time all fight. Yeah, this is not the Jorge Masvidal that was really motivated to knock the crap out of Ben Askren.
Sure. Like that was wide open, put it away. And when he loses this next round, unless he comes out again like he's on fire, that was where you let it get away.
Yeah, look at the replay there. Like, he hit him on a separation, and it was almost like he didn't know that how hard he had hit him at the time, and then he didn't react quick enough after the fact.
Yeah,
because if he was turned when Colby went down in his defense, looking at it a second time. But had he figured out quicker than he did that Colby was not altogether with it, we might have seen the end of that fight.
Well, and I truly believe down. He was wide open.
I truly believe that if you leave, all things being equal with Jorge Masvidal, he will beat you.
I mean, it was a great shot.
All right, here we go.
I mean, you got to follow up on that. That's it. That's what you got. Yep.
Round 5 here. We need a finish, or we need Jorge Masvidal to finish, or Colby Covington can just ride this ride his way to glory. Get close to victory. All right, he gets a single. Boom, down they both go. Colby Covington on top.
Frustrating, bro. I mean, Covington has earned the victory here, but Masvidal, come on then.
All right, Colby Covington gets the back again. Oh, gosh, he keeps going for this.
He's really really concentrated on making it happen.
Yeah, he has been relentless trying to get that rear naked choke. I think, he figures, hey, there's always a chance the referees are going to screw me. I mean, look what happened to Josh Taylor a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
I listened to some podcasts after that, and people were pissed, and they were like, this is a black mark on boxing, and the UFC can't afford to have too many of those either.
I mean, you just start. It's hard to shake that name that the fix is in.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think if I'm Covington, I know he really wants a submission, but like he's had way more success with those strikes, with the elbow strikes.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm Masvidal, I'm looking to weather the storm, get out, and then do the same thing I did last round. Some big shots, mid to late round, knock him out.
All right, Colby Covington just riding on top of Jorge Masvidal.
Hanging around.
He's been hanging around. I don't even like Counting Crows, but yeah, I couldn't resist that one.
I mean, it's fair.
I don't get off on that white boy shit, Daniel. I don't.
They're like Pepsi. They're the voice of a generation.
No spin doctors, no Counting Crows, none of that shit.
The betrayal.
Moving on. What do you say? We're at 2.5 minutes here left in this entire fight.
Masvidal let it slip away, and Covington is just sticking to his game.
Is this not classic Jorge Masvidal? Where like we were talking like Edson Barboza, where he's just so darn inconsistent.
Come on, man. Useless as a boiled boot.
Is that one of your fancy Canadian sayings?
Yep. Listen, man, you don't look like that. It's that and the face on him like a bulldog eating mayonnaise. Can't like it.
Terrific. Colby Covington just not willing to let him go.
Which, I mean, proper thing. That's it.
No. Look at that. Masvidal tried to spin out too, and Colby Covington was just there ahead of him every step of the way.
It's almost like he's not looking for the submission. He's just holding on to him now.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I know I can ride this out for a couple of minutes. I'll throw a few more shots in, get a few more extra points.
Pat wants us to pay close attention to the high-level wrestling happening here with Covington. And look, no one's taking that away from him. Yeah, no one's taking that away from him.
I think it was back round 3. He did a couple of quick spins around and behind, trying to make sure that he got the right position that he wanted, and it was very smooth. It was good wrestling.
To be clear, it's not that I mentioned before that Jorge Masvidal tends to be a little inconsistent, and and I don't want it to come across like I'm saying like, oh well, he could have had Colby Covington here, but he just somehow brain farted. No, Colby Covington is giving him all he can handle. I get that, but
and it has for multiple rounds.
Right, but look. Not so much that Jorge Masvidal had no chance in this fight. He gave up opportunities.
Agreed.
They slipped right past him. And he's going to crank that neck again. It looks like Jorge Masvidal's fading. Okay. He almost had the full mount on him. He needs to make a decision. Yeah, full mount.
It's over. I mean, it was over 30 seconds ago, but still.
Yeah, man, you're gonna need to. You may need to invite me over to Easter or something here because I think we're done. Yeah. Oh, is it over or they stop it? No. Okay. They stop. It's they just ran out of time.
Ran out of time.
All right. And of course, see, that's punk bullshit right there. You lost fair and square.
Yeah, you did not win, and you gave up your shot to win.
Right. And then they try to go after him after the bell, like it was all, the man fought better than you on this night.
I'm telling you, man, I'm calling it now. He's going to call the low blow, and he's going to call the eye gouge and say it wasn't a fair shot, and I want a rematch.
Well, yeah, again, him and his girlfriend, Nick Diaz, can go cry about it. or it could be a man to admit you lost and do better next time. I'm just saying, you know, life's full of choices. Make one. You know,
Make
like
good ones and do the bad ones.
Like Ozzie Davis said, always do the right thing. Right, Daniel Lasby?
That's correct. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Ozzie Davis.
Yes, sir. I'm tired.
America.
Look at that elbow. Boom. Right across the ear and the jaw.
No good. I mean, very good, but no good.
Boom. Big kick to the leg. You know, all the credit in the world to Colby Covington. He got nailed pretty hard in the leg there, and he kept his composure.
He took a couple of good shots.
Mm.
Like, again, that's almost what's the disappointing part about Masvidal. Covington took some big-time shots, and, yeah, he bounced back out of them, and that's where he deserves the win. But, like, Masvidal didn't follow up on them either.
Yeah. And we're showing some more of the replay here in round 3 where he was pounded on him with elbows. All right, just one more time, because as soon as they announce a score, we're probably going to get out of here. It's getting late. But I thank you. It's been a little over 3 hours, and most of you have hung out with us across Facebook and Twitch, and for a brief moment in time, YouTube. So we certainly appreciate you. We will be back doing some boxing on the 19th for ESPN, and then again on ESPN on the 26th. And then 2 weeks after that, we will be doing another UFC pay-per-view. All right, let's get the final word here from Officer Bird.
After 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 49-46. 50-44 and 50-45 with a winner by unanimous decision, Colby.
Yep, Colby. All right, the new BMF, Colby Covington. Well, Daniel Lasby, that's it. Unanimous decision. Colby Covington wins. Yeah, one of them was 49-46, bizarrely.
49-46. How do you score that?
Yeah, I don't know. That should have been 50s across the board for show. Okay. 49-46, 50-44, and 50-45. Well, 2 of those seem to be right, and one of those was clearly Jorge Masvidal's uncle. Clucky, you bastard. I will make chicken out of you yet. Kentucky Fried. All right. Folks, did you have fun? This is 2 days, man. 2 days of my nonsense.
There you go. Times are being had all around.
Yes, sir. All right. I've read off the calendar. Dan, real quick, tell them where you at, B.
As I said yesterday, getting close, about a month away from a couple of podcast radio dramas we're putting out. One called The All Night Laundromat. One called The Detective Trench Files. We'll see where that goes and whether or not it gets me divorced. Other than that, I'm hanging out with Mark Radulich each and every day from now until the end of time, except for that 1 week where I got free time with my wife due to a backdoor decision by the Rad.
Well, what you and your wife do when your backdoor is your own business, sir. This is a family show.
Listen, I'm trying to take pointers from Pat.
Oh, we got some more comments here before we go. Before I, oh my God, call out to the swamp rat, Dustin Poirier. Colby called Dustin Poirier a cuck. Oh my! Speaking of the back door, and let's hear Jorge's excuses. Let's not and say we did. Hey, Pat Mullen, love you, buddy. Robert Winfrey, love you, buddy. J-Rock, thank you for coming on here. Sean Comer, I will talk to you Monday night, and we will talk about chainsaws and pretty gals and how they go together like peanut butter and arsenic. So until then, I'm Mark Radulich. This is the Radulich Broadcasting Network. For Dan Lasby, be well, be safe, and behave.